Chapter 488. You are no match for me. Naga's lips curled into a mocking smile. Li Xiaotian, don't overestimate yourself. You might be able to win if you meet someone else, but if you meet me, Naga, you will die. That's not necessarily true. Li Xiaotian's eyes twitched wildly as he gritted his teeth. It's still unknown who will win. Alright, Naga, Li Xiaotian, don't argue with each other. The devilish man with reddish-brown skin hurriedly came out to mediate. 32 people will first be divided into 16 groups to fight. At least in the first round, the probability of us meeting each other is relatively low. He paused for a moment before continuing. In fact, I have also looked at the images of the 32 people. The kid who killed the Beast King's soul-severing blade actually appeared in there. A expanded point realm trash, after being silent for a few rounds, has now jumped out and actually dared to participate in the final battle. This is truly a miracle. This is courting death. Li Xiaotian licked his lips. I thought that kid had already teleported away. Who would have thought that he would appear again? I hope that my first opponent will be him. That way, I will be able to advance steadily in the first round. This will increase my confidence. Furthermore, I can obtain his corpse and refine his bloodline genes. The first round is very important. If we can win, it will greatly increase our confidence and morale. I also hope that we will meet that expanded point realm kid in the first round. The devilish man with reddish-brown skin also said with certainty. Naga curled his lips in disdain. It seemed that no matter who he met, to him, it would be the same. The outcome would be the same. Inside Xiaofan's wooden house. Xiaofan sat cross-legged on the bed. The liquid spiritual power planet in his sea of consciousness pulsated vigorously, releasing the primordial divine light, that bright and resplendent spiritual power halo. That bright and resplendent mental power halo seeped out, illuminating the entire wooden house. The origin blade chi of the great accomplishment stage was like an evil dragon. It resided in the sea of consciousness. Every cell in his body was emitting the light of the immortal world. Xiaofan's body glowed brightly, faintly emitting traces of the immortal body. Currently, Xiaofan's physical strength had reached 700 billion cauldrons, and he could attempt to break through to the 20th level of the exterminating sky decimating earth mental technique. He even had 21 sets of spiritual finger seals. However, Xiaofan was not in a hurry to break through to the next level. Tomorrow was the day of the battle. Xiaofan had to be completely focused and adjust his body's condition to its peak. I hope I can defeat my opponent tomorrow. After that, there would be 3 days of rest. In these 3 days, I can make the best use of my time to break through the follow-up of the exterminating sky decimating earth mental technique. Tomorrow, I must win. No matter who the opponent is. Xiaofan's eyes turned, his fighting spirit rising. So what if it's Naga's? The night passed. Day had arrived. Wang, from the light screen in the middle of the wooden hut came the urgent sound of a short flute. Then, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice resounded, all 32 evil heroes, please get into position quickly. Now, you will be randomly selected for the first round of 32 to 16 opponents, it's time. Xiaofan's eyes lit up. He leaped to the side of the light screen and stared at it. In Xiao Mingchu's wooden hut. Xiao Mingchu stood nervously in front of the light screen. He put his hands together in a praying position and silently prayed. The strong are as many as trees in a forest, a battle of life and death. I hope that Junior Xiaofan can avoid the most terrifying guys. Out of the 32, only one will survive. I hope that it will be Junior Xiaofan. Is it starting? I've been looking forward to it for a long time. The muscles at the corner of Naga's eyes twitched. His eyes flashed with boundless killing intent and arrogance as he stared at the light screen. To me, Naga, any opponent is like a blade of grass. It doesn't matter who I meet. Xiaofan stared at the light screen. At this moment, wang wang wang, on the light screen, the images of the 32 evil heroes began to rotate rapidly. The speed of rotation was abnormally fast. Faster and faster. In the beginning, Xiaofan could still rely on his powerful mental strength to grasp the positions and trajectories of the 32 images on the light screen. But towards the end, the images of the 32 chivalrous men were completely distorted and turned into rays of light and shadows. Even Xiaofan's mental fluctuations could not be seen clearly. At this moment, boom! The light screen shook. The images of the 32 evil heroes suddenly lined up one by one, matched in pairs. Evil heroes, the battle of the top 32 has officially begun. Your respective opponents have been randomly selected. After 10 breaths, you will be transported to the arena. The first round of the battle of the top 32 is also considered the Immortal Stone competition. There are 20 rounds in total, and the rules for the Immortal Stone rewards will not change. I wish you all good luck. The opponent was selected. Xiaofan scanned with his mental strength and found that his opponent was actually a black evil hero. It's a black man. Before Xiaofan could react, a beam of light shot out from the light screen and directly enveloped Xiaofan. A whirlpool suddenly appeared. In the next moment, Xiaofan was already swept into the light screen. Chaos on all sides. Xiaofan stood on a square-shaped arena. Across from Xiaofan was his opponent, the Black Demon Hero. The Black Devil's feet seemed to be suspended in the air. His body was extremely huge, and the space around his body was completely distorted. Under the distorted space, it was impossible to distinguish his appearance. People could only vaguely see that his skin was charcoal black. Countless mysterious patterns and talismans were intertwining. This Black Devil was constantly emitting a pressure that could cause one's will to collapse. 9th level of True Qi, True Treasure Realm. Xiaofan had already assessed his opponent's realm. At the same time, Xiaofan also saw a light yellow brocade bag floating above the Black Vigilante's head. There were countless celestial stones stored inside, and they were as numerous as the sands in the vast ocean. It seemed that this Black Devil hadn't taken the Immortal Stone yet. He exchanged it for an Immortal card. As long as I defeat him, I will be rich. Xiaofan could not help but lick his lips. But very quickly, Xiaofan put away his distracting thoughts. His heart was as calm as an ancient well, and he quietly observed his opponent. Before he entered the arena, Xiaofan was still a little nervous before the big battle. But now, standing on the arena and facing his opponent in a life-and-death battle, Xiaofan surprisingly calmed down. The saber intent in his sea of consciousness swept across, causing him to enter a supreme realm where there was no one and no me. In his heart, there was no longer any filth. Everything was clear. Good. Very good. Very good, said the Black Fiend. The Black Devil let out a violent rumbling sound. In the surrounding space, the sun and moon sank, and the stars swayed. In his tone, it was full of relief. Xiaofan was slightly stunned. I didn't expect that the top 32 life and death battle. The first opponent I encountered was actually you. The Black Devil spoke with fervor and assurance. There was a kind of high and mighty posture, as if he was the king of the world. It seemed that he had firmly grasped Xiaofan. Oh. I get it now. It's because my Jinqi realm is insignificant, only at the expanded aperture realm. As such, you were overjoyed to meet me, thinking that you would be able to defeat me effortlessly, right? Xiaofan burst into laughter. At that moment, Xiaofan controlled his body perfectly, hiding the power of furious lightning in every single pore and cell on his body. At the same time, he used the Spirit Turtle's true qi to envelop his life force. As a result, it was impossible to tell just how tough Xiaofan's body was. He did not disguise the pulses of his true qi at all. His cultivation at the 6th layer of true qi was exposed without restraint. It was a mixture of truth and falsehood, filled with deception. Yes. On one hand, it's because you are indeed the weakest in the top 32. This is publicly acknowledged. In reality, every single one of us wanted to encounter trash like you in the first round. That way, we could defeat you easily and advance to the next round. Moreover, the increase in confidence goes without saying. Looks like my luck is indeed heaven-defying. There are a total of 16 battles. I could have encountered 16 different opponents, but I just had to encounter trash like you. Do you think I should not be happy? Anne. I recognize you. You recognize me? It can't be, right? We come from different planes. It's impossible for us to have any interaction. You actually recognize me? Xiaofan was dumbfounded. I saw that you came from the same plane as that trash. You and that trash still call each other senior and junior brothers. The black demon roared. His tone was filled with resentment and hatred. You mean, my eldest senior brother? Xiaofan was stunned. That bastard killed my most beloved and most valued disciple, Kino, in the arena. Unforgivable. However, after that, that trash did not dare to fight anymore. Even though I wanted to avenge Kino, I could not find a chance. Originally, I planned to kill that trash after leaving the genius zone. At the same time, I would ask our pagoda master to send troops to destroy your plane. But now, I did not expect that I would encounter you, that trash's junior brother. Die. I will blast you into pieces. I will avenge my disciple Kino. Roar. The black demon let out a beast-like howl. In an instant, his battle intent rose. His entire aura became flawless, flickering, and unpredictable. It was like a dazzling pearl spinning under the starry sky. He had already pushed his true qi divine art to the limit. Xiaofan was on high alert. He was ready to deal with any changes. The spirit turtle true qi that sealed the power of his body was also ready to be released at any time. It erupted with the power to tear apart continents and destroy planets. At this moment, die. Die with my disciple Kino. The black demon flicked his finger. Countless true talisman arrays were born and destroyed. Immediately, a terrifying destructive power filled the entire arena. All the space was compressed and twisted. Supreme Maha Infinite Vajra Divine Strength Technique. Streams of hurricane-like true energy burst out from the black man's fingertips. Rumble. Rumble. The space trembled. The black demon's body emitted an aura that was like that of an ancient god. His true qi divine technique had the domineering aura of a king. It swept through everything. It was much stronger than the Beast King's soul-severing saber that Xiaofan had encountered before. In a trance, Sanskrit chants rang out. A dark shadow rose up behind the black demon. It looked like a bald statue. Its hands were clasped together, and it was chanting some mysterious spell. Boom! A giant golden finger, as tall as a pillar, pierced through the sky and pressed down on Xiaofan. This giant golden finger emitted a brilliant golden light. One could see densely packed runes and arrays on its surface. It had the terrifying power to destroy everything. The power of this finger was absolutely heaven-defying. It could crush everything. This black demon was a miraculous genius in his dimension. When he was in the expanded meridian realm, his meridian expanded by 300 times. The pure true qi attack power was 18 million ding. When he was in the talisman transformation realm, he refined the talismans 10 times, increasing the quality of his true qi by 400 times. The pure true qi attack power also reached a terrifying 8 billion ding. When he was in the talisman formation realm, the arrays created by the talismans increased the pure true qi attack power by 20 times, reaching 160 billion ding of pure true qi attack power. Finally, when he entered the true treasure realm, the pure true chi attack power increased by 2 times. Without using any true chi cultivation technique, his pure true chi attack power was around 320 billion ding. At this moment, the Black Fiend had activated a peerless true chi divine art, the supreme great Maha Infinite Vajra strength divine art. His attack power was forcibly increased to around 600 billion cauldrons, and he attacked Xiaofan. Die. Blast them into ashes. The black demon bared his teeth. He wanted to kill Xiaofan in one blow. He did not want to give Xiaofan any chance. He wanted to turn Xiaofan into ashes. Xiaofan instantly entered battle mode. Release. Thunder God Tyrant Body. Boom! Xiaohan's spirit turtle true chi spread out. Shockingly, the space between the heavens and the earth was constantly tumbling. Dark clouds covered the sky and lightning flashed. Xiaohan's entire body seemed to have become tall and strong. He pointed at the sky and stepped on the ground, looking like a king. Chapter 489. The Immortal Stone competition in the Genius area had finally reached its climax. Tens of millions of elite chivalrous heroes under the age of 10,000 came from different planes of the universe. Each of them had their own ambitions, aspirations, and pride. Finally, they gathered at the first level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, the Genius area, to compete for the many treasures. Until now, there were only 32 people who still had the courage and competitiveness. 32 genius chivalrous heroes fought in pairs. In the battle for the top 32 to the top 16, Xiaofan met a black chivalrous hero. That black chivalrous hero used his true chi to support a true chi divine skill, and had a violent attack power of 600 million ding. With this attack power, it was not impossible for him to kill people and destroy a small planet. In Xiaohan's plane, Shengguan Wudi, an ancient giant on the chivalrous hero ranking, was at the 10th level of true chi and could be ranked in the top 30. But his maximum attack power was only around 200 million ding. If he met this black chivalrous hero, he would be poked to death with one finger. Even if this black chivalrous hero went to Xiaohan's plane, he could single-handedly fight all the chivalrous heroes in Xiaohan's plane, and directly destroy the chivalrous tower, which was known to be undefeatable. At this moment, in addition to the top 32 chivalrous heroes who were about to fight to the death, there were still more than 10,000 chivalrous heroes who stayed in the giant hall to watch the show. In Xiao Mingchu's room, because there were only 16 battles, Xiao Mingchu's spiritual wave swept through and found the battle between Xiaofan and the black chivalrous hero, this guy. Seeing the black chivalrous hero, Xiao Mingchu almost bared his teeth, and there were flames of anger in his eyes. This black chivalrous hero once threatened me. At that time, I killed his disciple in a round of competition. After killing his disciple, he declared that he would take revenge and exterminate all living beings in our realm. Now that he has encountered junior brother Xiaohan, he will definitely vent his anger on junior brother Xiaohan and use the cruelest methods to deal with junior brother Xiaohan. At this moment. Boom! 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 When the black chivalrous hero used his ultimate attack, the entire light screen shook, and numbers actually rose in the battle between Xiaohan and the black chivalrous hero. 618, 7 billion ding. With the attack of the black chivalrous man, the light curtain shook violently and a golden light bloomed. A clear set of data appeared in front of him. What? Was this the attack power of the black vigilante? Was it read by the light screen? Xiao Mingchu cried out involuntarily. He had completely lost his composure. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets, and he almost fainted from fright. Was he still human? This attack actually contained the power to destroy a planet, an ancient powerhouse of our plane. No, it wasn't just the ancient potentates. Even the elders and the pagoda masters didn't have that kind of power. Crap. Junior brother Xiaohan, how are you going to block it? Xiao Mingchu's heart tightened, and he felt like he was suffocating. Although junior brother Xiaofan is monstrous, his strength is only around 100 million cauldrons. These few days, junior brother Xiaofan has been extremely mysterious. He hid himself and went into seclusion. I think he must have made great progress. But, 100 million cauldrons of strength can't increase too much. It can't suddenly increase. Crap. This black man's strength is dozens of times that of junior brother Xiaofan. It's like hitting a stone with an egg. Junior brother Xiaofan, you have to hold on. Luo Tianyou's room. Luo Tianyu stood in front of the light screen. He screamed in shock. 618, 7 billion cauldrons. This is beyond my understanding. Could it be that this is the power of an immortal? How can a mortal have this kind of power? Even the most powerful chivalrous hero in our plane can't reach 100 billion cauldrons. Little brother Xiaofan, actually encountered such a strong opponent. At the same time, the tens of thousands of chivalrous heroes who were watching the battle were extremely nervous. When they saw the battle between Xiaofan and the black chivalrous hero, they couldn't help but conclude with a few words, heaven and earth. Among the 16 life and death battles, only this one has the least suspense. The winner can be decided almost instantly. On the arena. Evil creature, die under my divine ultimate skill, the supreme Maha Infinite Vajra divine strength technique. The black chivalrous hero released his divine power and poked at Xiaofan like a deity. At this time, in a breath, Xiaofan also directly released the restraint of the thunder god tyrant body. Crackle. Crackle. Suddenly, in the pores of Xiaofan's body, lightning intertwined, thunder talismans circled, and immortal light bloomed. His strength rose steadily. The first battle must be won cleanly and cleanly. Full power. Xiaofan did not hide his strength at all. The power of 700 billion cauldrons was added to his body. At this moment, Xiaofan stood tall like a deity. His entire body was invincible. The light from his body purified all the filth of the mortal world. The divine thunder of the immortal world judged all living beings. Countless lightning bolts crisscrossed, the wind blew, the clouds surged, the sky changed color, and illusions appeared everywhere. From behind Xiaofan, a thunder god rose up, as if it was real. This thunder god stepped on dark clouds, wearing a beautiful robe with mountains, rivers, sun, and moon, and a crown on his head. He was majestic and commanding, above all living beings, ruling the world, and no one dared to disobey him. All the lightning in the sky and on the ground were under his command. The 5 elements, 8 trigrams, yin and yang qi existed for him. Die. Xiaofan's eyes lit up, and countless phantoms appeared in his eyes, the 4 seasons, the sun and moon, mountains and rivers, all living beings, the immortal world. When Xiaofan opened his eyes, billions of lightning bolts, divine light and holy light shone, as if all the lightning in the world was hidden in his eyes. Roar! Xiaofan let out a long roar that shook the surroundings. The entire arena showed signs of collapsing. Pucci, Xiaofan's body moved, and he had already forcibly torn the space apart, and punched out. Boom! This was the fist of the embryonic form of the immortal body, driven by the power of 700 billion cauldrons. He did not hold back too much. This fist was the descent of the deity. This punch was full of power. Pucci, without waiting for the black man to react, his true chi absolute kill attacked. It was forcibly torn apart by Xiaofan's fist. Waves of chi rolled everywhere, sweeping in all directions. In all directions, there were gloomy shadows. Xiaofan's fist broke the strong enemy's attack. His body slightly flashed, and he had already flashed in front of the black demon, and once again punched out. He did not give the opponent a chance to react at all. Boom! This fist. Once again, it exploded with a power of 700 billion cauldrons, sweeping in all directions, dominating the wilderness, crushing everything. Evil creature. The black demon felt Xiaofan's mighty and terrifying power, and a fierce and ominous premonition rose in his heart. He immediately let out a heart-wrenching scream. It was too late for him to move and dodge. He could only activate the true Qi talisman array in his body and collide head-on with Xiaofan. Xiaofan's fist was too fast. His embryonic form of the immortal body could cross time and space in a flash. It was not something the black demon could dodge at all. Bang! Finally, Xiaofan's fist and the black demon's true Qi counterattack collided head-on. It was like a collision of comets. Heaven and earth seemed to tremble. However, puff, the black demon violently spat out a mouthful of blood. The true Qi in his body was shaken by Xiaofan's fist until it was scattered like water ripples, unable to condense. In all directions, space exploded, and mushroom clouds rose violently. Moreover, Xiaofan's fist contained violent thunder and lightning elements. When his fist blasted out, there was a dense electric light. Like a dragon or a snake, mercury spilled on the ground, pervasive, and penetrated into the black demon's body. The electric light was like a thin thread. Thousands of threads penetrated into the black demon's body. Bones. Meridians. Blood. Even, the sea of consciousness. A strong sense of numbness instantly seized the black demon, causing his thinking and reaction speed to slightly slow down. His entire body's movements were also slightly sluggish. Evil creature. Get lost. Die. The black demon howled in horror. Boom! Xiaofan was simply unforgiving. Another punch, bombarded out. Xiao Mingchu's wooden house. The light screen shook violently. Shaking. Following Xiaofan's punch, the light screen suddenly exploded with a dazzling golden light. 7,000 cauldron. Xiao Mingchu clearly saw that it was exactly the power of 7,000 cauldrons. Kakik kakik, Xiao Mingchu was completely suffocated. His neck seemed to be grabbed by an invisible hand, and a strange owl-like sound came out. After a long time, he wailed as if he was in a dream. 7,000 cauldrons? This power, what is going on? This is junior brother Xiaofan's power? Xiao Mingchu completely did not dare to believe his eyes. He suspected that this 7,000 cauldrons of power came from the black demon, and not from Xiaofan. Xiao Mingchu used all his strength to rub his eyes, and stared at the light screen as if he had seen a ghost. At this moment, the light screen continuously shook violently, and one by one, new data continuously appeared. Boom! 7,000 cauldrons. Boom! 7,000 cauldrons. Boom! 7,000 cauldrons. Looking carefully at the screen, on the screen, Xiaofan was closing in step by step, punching out one punch after another. Every punch landed on the black demon's body. The black demon kept retreating, spitting out blood. His face was extremely ferocious, and he was in a sorry state, imminent danger. It really is junior brother Xiaofan, his power. 7,000 cauldrons. Xiao Mingchu was on the verge of collapsing. Freak. What a freak. What a monster. Heaven-defying. A few days ago, junior brother Xiaofan's limit was only around 100 million cauldrons, but now, it has exploded to 7,000 cauldrons. How is it possible for him to improve so rapidly in just a few days? Xiao Mingchu was incoherent. This is definitely a rare thing, on the stage. Bang 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 bang. Xiaofan continuously punched out, bombarding the black demon's body. More and more lightning bolts drilled into the black demon's body, causing him to be in a sorry state. His whole body was paralyzed, and he could not control himself. Die! 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 Xiaofan still did not know fatigue. Like a god descending to the mortal world, he punched out again and again. He was in high spirits. Every punch swept through the universe, dominating the world. His skin was now glittering and translucent, and immortal lightning flowed through it. His 5 viscera, 6 bowels, bone structure, and blood vessels rumbled as if they were being punished by the heavens. His physical strength, the embryonic form of the immortal body, was so tyrannical that it could even destroy a steel mountain. The black demon no longer had the ability to fight back. He could only keep retreating, spitting out blood, his mouth spitting out meaningless threats, wailing and cursing. At this moment, all of a sudden, a foul stench filled the air. From the black demon's crotch, some filthy things fell out. He was actually beaten up by Xiaofan, and shit came out. Chapter 490. Xiaofan was beating up the Black Yao repeatedly. Furthermore, the strength of each of Xiaofan's punches was exactly 700 million cauldrons. The black man was only able to block the attacks and had no strength to fight back. He was beating the shit out of him. Furthermore, the Black Yao's Jinqi was greatly depleted. On one hand, he had to use his Jinqi to defend against Xiaofan's punches. On the other hand, he had to use some of his Jinqi to defend against the lightning divine light that was invading his internal organs and meridians. He was being pushed back step by step. It was only a matter of time before he was killed by Xiaofan. In countless wooden houses, the chivalrous swordsmen who were watching the battle were now almost in a state of stupefaction and astonishment, staring at the light screen stupidly. On the light screen, the figure of 7,000 cauldrons rose continuously, causing the light screen to tremble. It seemed as though the light screen was about to explode. How is this possible? This kid, how did he manage to unleash a force of 700 million ding? He is only at the expanded acupoint realm. How could his small body contain such a violent and destructive force? Could it be that he used some kind of immortal artifact to raise his strength? A white-robed middle-aged man was shocked. Immortal artifact? It is definitely not an immortal artifact. A red-robed, one-eyed man had a cold expression. However, there was an unconcealable fear in his eyes. Furthermore, his strength is purely the strength of his physical body, and not the strength of his true energy. Could it be that this is the special physique that is known to be as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns in the boundless countless plains? A jade-like man wearing a crown and apricot yellow dragon robe stood in front of the light screen and nodded his head. It is not difficult to unleash a maximum attack power of 700 million ding. Not only the top 32 participants in the final battle could produce such a level of attack. Even the experts who did not participate in the top 32 were able to unleash a force of 700 million ding. Even the experts who did not participate in the top 32 were able to unleash a force of 700 million ding. However, to be like this young man and continuously unleash a force of 700 million ding. That was too difficult. A force of 700 million ding. Every time it was unleashed, it would consume a huge amount of energy. If one didn't have enough foundation, even after dozens or hundreds of such extreme attacks, one would still be exhausted. But this young man had already thrown out close to 100 punches, and each punch contained exactly 700 million cauldrons. This was too difficult. Even I can only unleash a force of 700 million cauldrons 200 times. After 200 cycles, one would no longer be able to maintain it, and the power would gradually weaken. This youth's power was surging and imposing, lasting and long, dense and tenacious, wave after wave like the tides of the rivers, the sun, and the moon. Continuous attacks, every punch was incomparably violent. Under such continuous attacks, even a half-immortal's body would explode sooner or later. Powerful, too powerful. However, this black demon hero was also powerful, to actually resist for so long. They haven't been completely defeated yet, there's no weakling in the top 32. In the arena, Xiaofan was getting more and more ferocious. One punch after another, as if he didn't know fatigue. An immortal physique is an immortal physique. You are indeed the best in the world. Xiaofan was getting more and more excited the more he fought. In layman's terms, in addition to the ability to resist attacks, the immortal body is also very tough. If my true qi strength reached 700 million cauldrons. But a few more punches would definitely consume a lot of my strength. Seriously speaking, although true qi attacks were powerful, they would be consumed for a long time. One would also be drained and hollowed out. But at this moment, Xiaofan didn't show any signs of exhaustion at all. This was also the huge advantage of the immortal body. There was a huge difference between the immortal body and the ordinary body. At this time, the black demon hero was like a candle in the wind. He was beaten back by Xiaofan, and the space around him was being obliterated and peeled off. Suddenly, true treasure. Golden Buddha sacred robe. Suddenly, every acupoint of the black demon hero's body burst out with Wuxia precious qi. In an instant, a golden Kasaya Buddhist robe was put on the black demon hero's body. This was a magic treasure that the black demon hero condensed all the true qi in his body and transformed into. It was a defensive magic treasure. Before this, the black demon hero had been waiting, or it could be said that he was exhausting himself. Although he was beaten back by Xiaofan, he had never taken out his magic treasure. After all, the magic treasure was evolved from the whole body's true qi and essence. Once it was broken, he would immediately run out of oil and be at the mercy of others. Therefore, he would not easily take out this defensive magic treasure. The black demon hero thought that Xiaofan's continuous attacks were fierce at the beginning, but as time went on, he would definitely be weakened. Each attack was 700 million cauldrons, and it was impossible to attack hundreds or thousands of times. As long as he could withstand Xiaofan's storm-like attacks, he would have a chance to turn the tables. However, Xiaofan had already smashed out thousands of punches, and not only did he not weaken at all, but he also became more and more courageous. This caused the black demon hero's psychological defense to completely collapse. He had no choice but to take out his defensive magic treasure. It's useless. Xiaofan completely ignored the black demon hero's magic treasure. If the black demon hero had turned all the true qi in his body into a magic treasure to resist at the beginning, Xiaofan would have some trouble. But now, the black demon hero's momentum had weakened, and he had consumed a lot of his true qi. He could barely take out his defensive magic treasure, but it was also an arrow at the end of its flight. Bang! 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 Xiaofan punched out fiercely one after another. Violent beating. Violent beating. At the moment when the fists were thrown out, there was a strong burst of lightning. It was as if he was communicating with the thunder god of the immortal world. In the lightning of the fists, the shadow of the thunder god was appearing and disappearing. Each of Xiaofan's punches had the power to collapse heaven and earth and cut off the ocean. His fists did not have any magical powers, nor did they have any techniques. The only thing they had was power, absolute power, speed, endurance, and toughness. Each of Xiaofan's punches hit the black demon hero's magic treasure Buddhist robe, destroying a large area of golden light. Each punch hit the flesh, like a dragon or a tiger, like a wolf or a leopard, like a meteor smashing the ground, like the arrival of a natural disaster. After hundreds of punches, finally, Xiaofan punched down, and the golden light of the black demon hero's defensive magic treasure completely dimmed. Then, the magic treasure golden robe shattered inch by inch, exploded, and the true qi formation inside the golden robe collapsed inch by inch. Who, the black demon hero looked up and spat out a mouthful of blood, and then subconsciously howled. Don't fight anymore. Bang bang. Bang bang bang. How could Xiaofan care so much? He attacked like a storm, and now, every punch landed solidly on the black demon hero's body. The black demon hero was immediately beaten up like a big shrimp, and his body arched. Then, the true qi inside his body also exploded, and the true qi formation protecting his internal organs was destroyed one after another, and exploded. The black demon hero's skin. Like a piece of porcelain, fine and dense cracks appeared on it. In the end, it suddenly exploded, and turned into a handful of powder. This black demon hero, who was at the 9th level of true qi, was actually blown up by Xiaofan. Xiaofan stood proudly, and his expression suddenly became calm. His breathing was neither fast nor slow. Xiaofan had blasted out thousands of punches, and each punch contained 700 million cauldrons of strength. Only then was he able to completely destroy the Black Devil. However, at this time, Xiaofan did not show any signs of exhaustion, and his expression gradually became indifferent. It's really hard to deal with. After spending so much time and punching so many times, I finally killed this black demon hero. It seems that there are no weaklings in the top 32. However, I have already passed, and advanced to the top 16. At this time, Xiao, the light yellow brocade pouch that originally belonged to the black demon hero suddenly opened. The densely packed immortal stones, the number seemingly endless, rolled into Xiaohan's brocade pouch. At the same time, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice also sounded, "Congratulations, congratulations, you have successfully passed the top 32 battles, and entered the top 16. According to the rules, you will receive a reward of 248 billion immortal stones. Junior, 10 billion immortal stones can be exchanged for an immortal card. After entering the second floor of this Emperor's treasure trove, you can use the immortal card." The top 32 to top 16 battles have ended. Junior, you have 3 days to rest. 3 days later, you will once again randomly select an opponent for the top 16 battles. And at this time, Xiaofan. More than 500 million immortal stones? Ha 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 ha. I received more than 500 million immortal stones as a reward. Ha 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 ha. Awesome. This is awesome. Xiaofan was overjoyed. Moreover, after the black demon hero was killed, all his immortal stones were plundered by Xiaofan. From the black demon hero, a total of 1.8 billion immortal stones were plundered. Ha 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 ha. In other words, I now have 700 million immortal stones. Inside Xiaohan's wooden house. Xiaofan stood in front of the light screen, and his mind quickly swept through the inventory. Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir. The Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir in the inventory must not be exchanged by the other demon heroes. Now that I have a lot of immortal stones, I can use all the Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir in the inventory. Xiaofan was impatient. The Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir was the key for Xiaofan to improve his combat power and create an immortal body. The reason why Xiaohan's combat power could soar to such a monstrous and heaven-defying level in such a short time was entirely because of the Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir. Whoosh, there are still 2,179 elixirs left. Xiaohan's body shook. Damn it, the last time I checked the inventory of the Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixir, there were still 2,487 elixirs left. Now that I've checked, another few hundred elixirs have been exchanged. I can't be intercepted and killed again. Exchange. 2,179 Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixirs, exchange them all. Whoosh 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 whoosh, from the light yellow brocade pouch, immortal stones rolled into the light screen like flowing water. At the same time, Thunder God's Body Tempering Elixirs with strong medicinal properties and dense thunder light shot out from the light screen and floated around Xiaohan's body. After a short while, 179 Thunder God's body-tempering elixirs, exchanged them all, without missing anything. That's great. Xiaofan's expression changed. His right hand grabbed a large handful of elixirs, about dozens of elixirs, and sent them into his mouth. Today, the scene of my battle with the Black Demon Hero must have been repeatedly studied by the other 15 demon heroes. They probably thought that they had already seen through my trump card. However, as long as I can refine more Thunder God's body-tempering elixirs, I will once again create a shock for everyone. Thunder God's body-tempering elixirs, refine them for me. Xiaofan was impatient and swallowed a large number of elixirs like a whale. His entire body shone with a golden light and thunder as he frantically refined the elixirs. The strength of his body rose again. The embryonic form of the immortal body became more and more compact, stable, and gradually approaching perfection. Chapter 491. In the first round of the Immortal Stone competition, Xiaofan defeated the Black Devil and successfully entered the top 16. As a result, Xiaofan received billions of Immortal Stones as a reward. In a spurt of energy, Xiaofan completely exchanged for all the Thunder God's body-tempering pills in the vault of the enormous hall. 2,179 Thunder God body-tempering pills only cost him 200 million Immortal Stones. Boom boom boom, bolts of multicolored celestial world lightning coiled around Xiaofan like dragons and snakes. Xiaofan did not have any distractions in his mind as he swallowed large amounts of immortal pills while tempering his body. Right now, Xiaofan's immortal body was already in its embryonic form. His body and genes were no longer ordinary. He had laid down a solid foundation. Therefore, he could take large amounts of immortal elixirs now. As soon as he swallowed the immortal pills, his body would automatically absorb and refine them. Then, he would activate the golden light of the immortal golden body incantation to perfectly refine the medicinal properties and scatter them into Xiaofan's genes. Against the heavens. Although he had defeated his opponent in the first round, the Black Devil completely crushed his opponent and left him with no room for resistance. Xiaofan did not dare to be careless. However, Xiaofan did not dare to be careless. He knew that in the next round, the opponent he would encounter in the top 16 would be even more terrifying. None of the devil heroes who could enter the next round from the top 32 were weak. Every devil hero in the top 16 was absolutely a heaven-defying existence, a killing machine. For example, Naga, who claimed to kill with one sword. If Xiaofan did not improve his strength, he would not be confident in facing Naga now. In these 3 days of rest, he had to improve his combat power without delay. Xiaofan did not go out at all, seizing every minute and second. He cultivated. He did not have time to meet with Xiao Mingqiu and the others. He did not even have time to watch the other battles of the top 32. Cultivate. 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 Outside the wooden house where Xiaofan lived, Xiao Mingqiu, Luo Tianyu, and the others were in a heated discussion. It was full of fanaticism and disbelief. I really didn't expect junior brother Xiaofan to improve so quickly in just a few days of seclusion. The junior brother Xiaofan from a few days ago is like a different person now. Xiao Mingqiu said with a flushed face. Our plane has been weak since ancient times. Now, a powerful figure has risen up. Junior brother Xiaofan. That's 700 billion cauldrons of energy. It's definitely enough to kill many of our plane's elders. He can even wrestle with the pagoda master. Great! Little brother Xiaofan, you've really risen to power this time. If he can return to this plane now, it's not impossible for him to destroy all the demons in our plane by himself and realize the unification of the human race. Luo Tianyu was so excited that he thumped his chest and stamped his feet. It howled in a low voice, its eyes filled with blazing worship. Afterward, Luo Tianyu said after a slight pause. Such a heaven-defying improvement, could it be that little brother Xiaofan consumed some immortal pill or immortal qi? One of Xiaofan's slaves, the demon hero, chimed in. According to the ancient legends, in our mortal world, there are mysterious incidents of immortals reincarnating. Could it be that master is an immortal from the upper realm who descended to the mortal world and reincarnated? Alright, stop making wild guesses. Junior brother Xiaofan has just entered the top 16. He will encounter even more powerful opponents. Junior brother Xiaofan must defeat these strong opponents so that he can escape unscathed. Xiao Mingqiu restrained the joy on his face. He said cautiously. All of us have seen the other matches in the top 16 through the light screen. Every match is thrilling. Every match can be called a classic. Other than junior brother Xiaofan, which of the other 15 demon heroes are weak? Seriously speaking, even though junior brother Xiaofan's power has soared and he's famous now, compared to the other 15 advanced evil heroes. Xiao Mingqiu hesitated for a moment, his expression becoming more and more solemn. Then, he said word by word. Junior brother Xiaofan has no advantage. He only has an extremely violent attack power and an abnormally strong flesh shell. However, his attack method seems to be a little simple. Moreover, in the other matches, there are a few demon heroes whose power surpasses junior brother Xiaofan's 700 billion cauldron. Hearing this, Luo Tianyu and the others' expressions became gloomy. Worry was written all over their faces. Junior brother Xiaofan must know his current situation better than us. Therefore, during this 3-day break, junior brother Xiaofan will definitely continue his closed-door training. Let's not disturb him, Xiao Mingqiu said seriously. Of course. Luo Tianyu and the others nodded. In a wooden house. The imposing figure, Li Xiaotian, who was covered in black scale armor and had an aura like an ancient god, stood in front of the light screen with a cold expression. He was using his mind to look at the battles of the top 32 that had already ended. In the battles of the top 32, Li Xiaotian's luck did not seem to be very good. He actually encountered a celestial vision realm expert with 93 open true meridians in his body. However, Li Xiaotian's strength was too tyrannical. In a single exchange, he slapped that celestial vision realm expert to death. At this moment, Li Xiaotian was watching the battle scene of his match. On the light screen, Li Xiaotian's godlike figure appeared, ha 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 ha. Die. The muscles on Li Xiaotian's entire body swelled, and his figure grew taller. In an instant, he became a giant that was dozens of zhang tall. With a slap, he could topple mountains and overturn the seas, like a natural disaster at the end of the world. Boom! The light screen exploded, and a dazzling golden number bloomed along with Li Xiaotian's palm, 1.9 billion cauldron. His strength was actually so terrifying, reaching 1.9 billion cauldron. Moreover, his strength was the same as Xiaofan's. It did not rely on the eruption of true qi. Li Xiaotian's strength was also the eruption of pure physical strength. He was also a person with a special physique that was rarely seen throughout the ages in the vast and boundless universe. Celestial meteorite body. This special physique was of the earth attribute. Its specialty was that its defense was tyrannical and impregnable. People with this physique could control every cell, every bone, every muscle in their body at will. Their bodies could expand and become bigger as they wished. There were ancient legends that recorded living beings that possessed the celestial meteorite body. After this physique was perfectly stimulated, the body could transform into a celestial body. The body was as big as a planet, and the strength could be calculated in trillions. Of course, Li Xiaotian was still far from reaching the level where his body could transform into a celestial body. Seriously speaking, the potential in his bloodline had already been squeezed dry and exhausted. Special physiques were different from cultivating true qi. Cultivating true qi could also rely on continuous hard work to improve. Diligently advancing and constantly breaking through. However, with a special physique, hard work and diligence were useless. People with special physiques could improve by relying on the genes in their bloodline. Or they could rely on immortal pills, treasures, and all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Oh? It's been a long time since I've tested my strength. Li Xiaotian looked at himself on the light screen, and the corner of his mouth pulled into a faint smile. So it turns out that when I use 70% of my combat strength, my maximum attack power can reach 1.9 billion cauldrons. It's not bad. However, I still desire to improve. Li Xiaotian's mental power fluctuated as he began to watch the battle scenes of the other matches. The linen-clothed, chestnut-haired Naga stood on the stage. His expression was so frivolous, so arrogant, so lonely. His opponent was a female demon warrior with an elegant temperament. This woman. She was as cold as jade, and her expression was cold. Her hands were empty, and she did not hold any weapons. Her entire body emitted a faint, elegant, and otherworldly aura. In between her eyebrows, there was an extremely faint line. She had opened the 100th true meridian, and it was possible for her to open the heaven's eye and open the 101st true meridian. However, as soon as these powerful existences clashed in the arena, the heavenly sword sect's disciples were shocked. She was cut by Naga's sword, dismembered into thousands of pieces, and died from 1,000 cuts. A square-faced, green-robed demon warrior. On the stage, he used his true Qi killing technique and shouted, "Monarch True Qi!" Suddenly, he turned his opponent into dust. The light screen vibrated continuously, and the data of 22,987 billion cauldrons burst out. A red-brown-skinned demon man with a demonic red sword aura floating above his head attacked. The entire stage was filled with demonic red sword shadows. These sword shadows divided into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8. In an instant, the entire stage was filled with red sword auras. There were thousands and tens of thousands of them. Pooh! 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 Every red sword aura burst out with the data of 1 billion cauldrons. Tens of thousands of sword auras formed a sword formation. With a single attack, an opponent who was not weak would explode into gas. There are a lot of strong people. Li Xiaotian laughed sinisterly as he watched and studied these battle scenes. Finally, his mental power stopped on Xiaohan's battle scene. In the scene, Xiaohan continuously released a power of 700 billion cauldrons, and finally killed the black demon warrior. This brat. Li Xiaotian's pupils suddenly shrank. His eyes stared straight at Xiaohan in the scene, special physique. Lightning attribute. A few days ago, when I saw his battle, he definitely did not hold back. His limit is definitely not more than 10 billion cauldrons. However, in today's battle, 700 billion cauldrons. In just a few days, his strength had actually advanced by leaps and bounds, reaching such a level. What kind of physique is this? Could it be an immortal physique? No. Absolutely impossible, an immortal physique can't appear in the mortal world. Then, it's possible that his lightning attribute physique is extremely high quality, infinitely close to an immortal physique. There's also a possibility that the lightning gene in his body has awakened in just a few days. Thus, he was able to obtain such abnormal progress. Roar! I must meet this person. In the top 16 battle, I must meet this person. This person is my, Li Xiaotian's, opportunity. The celestial meteorite physique gene in my body has already been exhausted, and my strength can no longer advance. However, if I can kill this person, refine his corpse, and strip away the lightning attribute gene in his body, then I can break through the shackles, causing the celestial meteorite physique to have the lightning attribute. With a dual attribute special physique, I will be invincible in the world. In the mortal world, there will no longer be an opponent for me. If I can meet this person in the top 16 battle, kill him, and refine his corpse, then in a few days of rest, my strength will advance to an unimaginable level. At that time, defeating Naga will be easy. Only by meeting this person in the next round and obtaining his corpse, can I possibly fight to the end and become the only survivor. This brat's limit is not held back at all. Right now, it's 700 billion cauldrons. 3 days later, if I meet him, then I can still easily deal with him. If I drag this on for a few more days, then it's hard to say what kind of progress he will have. Roar! Li Xiaotian let out a heart-wrenching howl. I must meet this brat in the next round. Chapter 492. In Xiaofan's wooden hut. At this moment, the entire wooden hut was filled with lightning. Xiaofan seemed to be wrapped in layers of thick lightning cocoons. He floated in the air with his legs crossed, surrounded by thunder god body tempering pills, like planets orbiting around him. Countless thick lightning bolts seemed to have a mind of their own as they formed numerous lightning dragons, lightning tigers, lightning cheilants, lightning pishio, lightning palaces, ancient lightning temples. They swirled around Xiaofan and merged into his body. Xiaofan's entire body emitted a kind of divine light that did not belong to the mortal world. As the bolts of lightning entered Xiaofan's body, they illuminated his entire body. Vaguely, some of the miraculous conditions in Xiaofan's body could be seen. At this moment, every meridian and bone in Xiaofan's body seemed to have formed a separate realm. As he continued to absorb the power of the thunder god body tempering pills, this realm became more and more perfect. The inner wall of Xiaofan's meridian actually formed a crystal wall. Space crystal wall. The color of this crystal wall was like a glazed jade, and it was engraved with complicated inscriptions of the thunder god. These inscriptions, every word and symbol recorded the glory, majesty, and invincibility of the thunder god. In addition, in every pore of Xiaofan's body, there were endless thunder and lightning elements. Each thunder and lightning element could create a feast of thunder and lightning in the secular world and create a disaster. This body was definitely not that of immortals. This was the embryonic form of an immortal body. There were gods' inscriptions and traces of immortals in his body. Xiaofan felt that the surging power in his body could definitely suppress the void, dominate ghosts and gods, and make all enemies retreat. Xiaofan looked solemn. He grabbed a large handful of thunder god body tempering pills with his right hand and sent them into his mouth. Crackle! Crackle! From within Xiaofan's body, the sound of rolling thunder could be heard. Xiaofan's cultivation had completely entered a state of no one and no self. However, in the outside world, the monsters who had advanced to the top 16 were each making final preparations for the upcoming battle of the top 16. Some of the monsters were repeatedly analyzing the scenes of the battle of the top 32, looking for the weaknesses of the opponents that they might encounter in the next top 16. Some of them were conserving their energy and adjusting their fighting state. Under the moonlight, in an orchard garden, the chestnut-haired Naga sat beside the stone table. There was an evil smile on his lips. A devilish man with reddish-brown skin. He squatted on the thick branch of an immortal tree and ate an immortal fruit with a smile. Li Xiaotian, clad in black armor, stood like a lone crane with his hands behind his back facing Naga's. Tomorrow, the round of 16 will begin at the same time. The three of us are likely to become enemies in the arena. Fight with your life. Naga smiled playfully. Nothing much. Before we become opponents, we can still be considered friends. The bewitching man with reddish-brown skin threw away the immortal fruit in his hand and wiped his hands. I think you've studied the 16 matches in the top 32, right? I didn't study this. Naga smiled arrogantly. To me, I don't need to deliberately study anything. To me, any opponent I encounter is the same. Naga. Don't be too arrogant. Li Xiaotian turned around. Who knows, in the next round of 16, you might fail miserably. He, Naga only laughed coldly. Yes. Li Xiaotian, that kid with a special physique, has made great progress. He actually managed to enter the top 16. The devilish man with reddish-brown skin looked at Li Xiaotian and paused for a moment before shrugging. However, from the current situation, the weakest one is still that kid. 700 billion cauldrons of physical strength would indeed be shocking to others. However, to people at our level, 700 billion cauldrons of physical strength is still not enough. Now, the one I hope to meet the most is that kid. Li Xiaotian's eyes were filled with a fanatical expression. He stuck out his tongue and licked his lips as he said fiercely. "Heh! Li Xiaotian, you might not be able to defeat that kid. Maybe, you will die in his hands." Naga raised his head and sneered. Ha 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 ha. Hearing Naga's comment, Li Xiaotian laughed angrily. What a joke. Naga, you're too funny. I, Li Xiaotian, am unstoppable, crushing everything with my strength. You say that I can't defeat that kid, ha 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 ha, he only has 700 billion ding of strength. He can't even break through my defense. With such little strength, if I want him to die, he will die. His progress is very fast. Naga said thoughtfully. In this world, it is impossible for an ordinary person to improve to this level in just a few days. There must be a secret on his body that no one knows. Suddenly, Naga's mouth curved into a devilish smile as he muttered to himself. Right now, even I'm a little interested in that kid. The battle will start tomorrow. If I meet that kid, Naga, I want you to open your eyes and see how I trample on him. Li Xiaotian flicked his sleeves and left. In Xiaofan's wooden house. Boom. 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 Divine thunder roared. The divine light was like a tide. At this time, the thunder god's body-tempering pills that surrounded Xiaofan's body had been completely refined by him. Phew, Xiaofan let out a long breath of turbid air. I've finally refined all 2179 thunder god's body-tempering pills. Not a single one left. Now, Xiaofan's casual breath could shatter the spatial crystal wall. With just a thought, he could create a storm in the mortal world, a lightning disaster. Xiaofan felt that his immortal body was becoming more and more solid. Moreover, there was a faint sign that he could communicate with the immortal world. However, the number of thunder god's body-tempering pills that Xiaofan had refined was less than 5,000. It was still a long way from the 10,000 immortal pills needed to perfectly create the thunder god's tyrant body. Seriously speaking, the current Xiaofan could at best be said to have a half-immortal body. However, in the mortal world, it was extremely terrifying and rare. This time, he condensed his immortal body. Compared to last time, the most obvious difference was that Xiaofan could now control the thunder attribute in his body at will. Without using the spirit turtle true qi, he could hide the faint immortal qi and thunder divine power in his body into his pores and cells, without leaking any trace. If he wrapped it with the spirit turtle true qi, it would be even more seamless. As for strength, Xiaofan had already reached a terrifying 3 trillion cauldrons. The speed of his improvement was simply astounding. It only took him 3 days to go from 700 billion cauldrons to 3 trillion cauldrons. This was something that rarely happened in the universe in billions of years. However, it was not strange when he thought about it. This abnormal speed of improvement was not because Xiaofan's talent was heaven-defying. In fact, it was completely the effect of immortal pills. It was because immortal pills were heaven-defying. However, it did not mean that Xiaofan was useless. The other monsters here had also exchanged for all kinds of immortal pills, but none of them could enjoy immortal pills like Xiaofan. Moreover, he had taken thousands of immortal pills in large doses. Gradually, Xiaofan absorbed the violent lightning in the wooden hut into his body. All of them were absorbed into his body. Soon, the wooden hut became peaceful and tranquil. Xiaofan's aura was also restrained. Walking to the front of the light screen, Xiaofan scanned it with his spirit and blurted out, "Tomorrow is the battle for the top 16. After a pause, Xiaofan could not help but touch his nose and murmur to himself. "I don't know which opponent I will encounter tomorrow. But it doesn't matter. With my current strength, no matter who I encounter, I will not be afraid." Heh. Speaking of which, I am quite looking forward to tomorrow's battle. The incredible improvement this time made Xiaofan's confidence soar. After that, Xiaofan took the time to quickly observe the other 15 battles of the top 32. Xiaofan saw Naga kill his opponent with one sword. He also saw Li Xiaotian's violent suppression. Each is more abnormal than the other. Xiaofan shook his head and laughed. After that, Xiaofan completely relaxed and walked out of the wooden hut. He wandered in the moonlight garden, eating some immortal fruits and enjoying a few immortal world flowers. Xiaofan used all kinds of methods to relax before the battle. After that, he sent a message to Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the others, asking them to come out and chat with him for a while. Now, Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the others talked to Xiaofan as a celestial being. The night was silent. The next day, noon. After a night of complete relaxation, Xiaofan's current state of mind was extremely full. There was a kind of spirit piercing through the sky, even a feeling of being reborn. He walked steadily to the front of the light screen. The battle for the top 16. There was a steady smile on the corner of Xiaofan's mouth. At this moment, buzz, from the light screen, there was a sudden sound of a short flute. Xiaofan's spirit slightly tightened. Then, the voice of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao resounded, "Ha ha ha ha, after 3 days of rest, I think the 16 strongest evil heroes must have adjusted their vitality to the best state, right? Ha ha ha. Good, you should all be impatient. Then, the 16 evil heroes, please get into position quickly. Now, we will randomly draw your opponents for the top 16. It's about to start." Xiaofan was slightly holding his breath now. Who will my opponent be? At the same time, Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the other evil heroes who were watching the battle, were nervously staring at the light screen. They all knew that the battle for the top 16 would be more exciting than the battle for the top 32. It would be more exciting, more cruel. I can't wait to harvest the next life. The corner of Naga's mouth curved into a sinister smile. Xiaofan stared at the light screen. At this moment, buzz buzz buzz, on the light screen, the images of the 16 evil heroes began to spin rapidly. The speed of the rotation was unusually fast. Faster and faster. At the beginning, Xiaofan could still rely on his tyrannical and boundless mental strength to grasp the positions and trajectories of the 16 images on the light screen. But towards the end, the images of the 16 evil heroes were completely distorted and turned into rays of light and shadows. Even Xiaofan's mental strength could not be seen clearly. At this moment, boom! The light screen shook. The images of the 16 evil heroes suddenly lined up one by one, matching in pairs. In an instant, it became a situation of 8 pairs against each other. 8 pairs against each other, half of the 16 evil heroes would fall on the arena. Dear evil heroes, the battle for the top 16 has officially begun. Your respective opponents have been randomly selected. After 10 breaths, you will be transported to the arena. The Immortal Stone's reward for the top 16 battle will exceed 10 billion. It can be exchanged for 10 immortal cards to be used in the second level of this Emperor's treasure. Enough idle chatter, let the battle begin. You will be transported to the arena. Good luck to everyone, the opponent was chosen. Xiaofan scanned with his mental strength and discovered that his matched opponent was actually clad in black scale armor. His aura was like that of a god, Li Xiaotian. The top 16, Xiaohan's match, Li Xiaotian. Chapter 493. Xiaohan's opponent had already been randomly selected in the battle of the 16-8. It was Li Xiaotian. In the mortal world, he was a rare one in 100 million with a special physique. In the top 16, he was considered a top expert. His body could change shape at will, reaching a height of 1,000 feet, like a god. With a slap, he could shatter a 10th level true chi, a celestial I-realm opponent. In that split second, some information about this Li Xiaotian appeared in Xiaohan's mind. This person, I've watched his battle videos. In every battle, he was incomparably arrogant, and his killing intent was heaven-defying. Every time before he killed his opponent, he would call out his name. His name is Li Xiaotian. At the same time, in the depths of the light screen, waves of colorful vortexes swept out, and in an instant, Xiaohan was swept into the light screen. The arena. In all directions, there was chaos. Xiaohan was already standing on the arena. In front of Xiaohan, stood Li Xiaotian, who was covered in black scales and had a domineering aura. This Li Xiaotian, just casually standing there, gave people a feeling of ancient desolation. His aura was so strong that it made people tremble in fear, causing the space in all directions to be in an unstable state, as if it was about to collapse. In every pore and cell of his body, danger lurked restlessly. Slaughter, savagery, madness, ruthlessness. In addition, above Li Xiaotian's head, there was a light yellow brocade bag floating. Inside, there were more than 10 immortal cards neatly placed. Each immortal card was worth 1 billion immortal stones. Li Xiaotian? The aura on Xiaohan's body was completely different from Li Xiaotian's. Li Xiaotian was full of sharpness, but Xiaohan was calm and collected. Xiaohan's thunder god tyrant body had already begun to take shape. He was already extraordinary. It was an out-and-out half-immortal body. If he released his aura, it would definitely be brilliant and brilliant. However, he was already able to retract and release it freely, returning to his original state. Xiaohan was calm, even harmless. One was a magma volcano that could erupt at any time, the other was a calm but unfathomable pool. At this moment, facing Xiaohan, Li Xiaotian's eyes were filled with boundless ecstasy. His entire face convulsed, his body twitching non-stop as he looked up at the sky. Suddenly, he let out a long laugh. Ha 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 ha. Luck path. Sure enough, I met you. Ha ha ha. His wish came true. His wish came true. Ha ha ha. This is the fate of Li Xiaotian. It seems that the rise of me, Li Xiaotian, cannot be stopped, inside Xiao Mingchu's wooden house. Now, Xiao Mingchu's face was as white as a sheet of paper, and even his breathing had become hurried. His spiritual fluctuation locked onto the light screen and stared closely at the scene of Xiaohan and Li Xiaotian. His heart was gradually sinking into depravity. Not good. I'm really, really unlucky. Why? Why did junior brother Xiaohan have to meet this abnormal guy? This person is one of the best in the top 16. In the battle of the top 32, this person's punch directly burst out with a strength of 1.9 trillion ding. He can kill people and ghosts with just a thought. And, the most frightening thing is that when this person killed his opponent in the top 32, he definitely had some strength left. That is to say, 1.9 trillion ding of strength. It's definitely not his maximum attack strength. Hiss. In that case, what was the limit of his attack power? Furthermore, this person's defense was absolutely terrifying. It was impervious to all evil and impenetrable. Truth be told, if junior brother Xiaohan was in the same state as he was 3 days ago, it would be almost impossible for him to defeat this abnormal opponent. Crap. It's terrible now. Xiao Mingchu's heart was completely clenched. Fine and dense cold sweat burst out from the pores of his skin. In a breath, his entire body was soaked in cold sweat, as if he had taken a cold bath. In the arena. Ha 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 ha. Li Xiaotian was still laughing wildly. His laughter shook in all directions, causing the air to collapse and peel off. Just this laughter alone was enough to shake many true energy experts to death. It could be seen how terrifying his physical strength was. The corner of Xiaohan's mouth moved slightly, then he sighed and smiled. Li Xiaotian, are you done laughing? Yes. The battle of the top 16 to the top 8 is more dangerous than the battle of the top 32. You probably thought that encountering me was the best result, right? Because I seem to be the weakest. Besides you, the other people in the top 16 also want to encounter me the most, right? Now that you've gotten your wish, you're so excited. Yes. Li Xiaotian stopped laughing. His emotions had also calmed down. He looked at Xiaohan and said slowly. Good, good. At such a young age, you've already developed the bearing of an expert. There's a sense of being indifferent. Encountering me, Li Xiaotian, with no chance of survival, you actually have the guts to talk so confidently. Even I can't see your fear. Yes, not bad, not bad. What a pity. In the previous battle of the top 32, the guy I met had the same idea as you. However, he died in my hands. Alright, let's do it. Xiaohan's fighting spirit rose bit by bit. His eyes were like torches, and there was a flash of lightning in his pupils. However, Li Xiaotian didn't seem to have the intention to attack immediately. He gently waved his hand and sneered. I'm not a short-sighted person. Kid, if you think that I'm so happy just because I met you, I'm so lucky to meet a weakling and advance without worry. Then, you're underestimating me too much. Huh? Xiaohan didn't understand. Kid, you have a special physique. In the entire universe, in the countless ordinary planes, it's extremely rare. And I also have a special physique. Li Xiaotian looked at Xiaohan proudly. Yes. Xiaohan couldn't help but nod his head. Li Xiaotian, I've seen the images of your battle. Indeed, you also rely on your physical strength to crush everything and defeat your enemy. Strictly speaking, we're the same kind of people. Li Xiaotian stared at Xiaohan. Kid, when I see you today, I actually feel a sense of sympathy for you. Sigh. In the vast universe, countless planes, people with special physiques in the true sense are rare. And you and I, two people with special physiques, the probability of meeting here is extremely low. If it wasn't because this arena battle is a life and death battle, we could probably become friends. Li Xiaotian's mouth suddenly pulled into a cruel and strange arc. Of course, even if we can become friends, I'll still kill you. Xiaohan was stunned. He didn't understand what Li Xiaotian was trying to say. Because Li Xiaotian looked at Xiaohan coldly. Kid, you're the key to my breakthrough to a higher realm. This is the real reason why I wanted to meet you and lost myself in ecstasy just now. You're the key to my true rise. Ha 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 ha. Xiaohan finally couldn't help but laugh loudly. What does your breakthrough have to do with me? Ignorant junior. Li Xiaotian scolded coldly. However, seeing that you're about to die, and that you're going to help me rise, I can tell you some things. Li Xiaotian wasn't in a hurry to kill, and he was talking non-stop. This made Xiaohan not anxious, and he looked at Li Xiaotian with interest. Kid, you must be a person with a special physique of the thunder attribute. And I, Li Xiaotian, am a person with a special physique of the earth attribute. Li Xiaotian said proudly. Thunder attribute? Earth attribute? Xiaofan was at a loss. You still don't know this, right? Li Xiaotian glanced at Xiaofan with contempt. Before you die, I can tell you. In the vast universe, there are countless planes, and there are many types of special physiques, and they are also divided into various types of physiques. Oh? Xiaofan couldn't help but nod. It should be like this. Generally speaking, special physiques are divided into several types. Fire attribute. Attack fast, invincible, earth attribute. Amazing defense, invulnerable to all evil. Unbreakable, wind attribute. Unpredictable, ethereal, fastest speed, water attribute. Softest. But it represents life, thunder attribute. The most unstable, the most difficult to control, but the most explosive, the most destructive. Li Xiaotian said almost everything he knew. Every physique, when reached the extreme, can be condensed into an immortal physique. Fire attribute. Yen Emperor Immortal Physique. Earth attribute. Starry Sky Dominator Physique. Wind attribute. Wind Immortal Physique. Water attribute. Water God Physique. Thunder attribute. Thunder God Tyrant Physique. Of course, other than these few basic special physiques, there are also some special physiques that are even more difficult to appear in the mortal world. For example, Divine Light Physique, Darkness Physique, Poison Demon Physique, Wood Emperor Physique. Every physique, when condensed to the extreme, can create an immortal physique? Xiaofan nodded subconsciously. In his heart, he said, as long as I consume and refine 10,000 Thunder God body quenching pills, I can create a perfect immortal physique. There is no doubt about this. Ha ha ha. Kid, it is not easy for a mortal to condense an immortal physique. People like us with special physiques are also limited by the bloodline genes. When the physique grows to a certain extent, its potential will be exhausted, and there will be no more breakthroughs. People with special physiques in the mortal world, the bloodline genes in their bodies are still very far away from a true immortal physique. For example, my celestial meteorite physique belongs to the earth attribute special physique. If the genes are perfect, I can condense an immortal physique. However, the earth attribute gene in my body is still about 80% away from being perfect. There's still an 80% difference? These words made Xiaofan completely puzzled. Simply put, the special bloodline genes in my body have been exhausted. If my physique is converted to an immortal physique, then I am at most 20% of an immortal physique, which is 80% away from a true immortal physique. Li Xiaotian explained. Xiaofan immediately understood. This is a vague concept, but it can be roughly deduced from the data. Assuming an immortal physique is a complete number, 10, then there is 10% immortal physique, 20% immortal physique, 30% immortal physique, and finally 100% immortal physique. If I consume 10,000 Thunder God body quenching pills, I can achieve 100% immortal physique. Now that I have consumed 4,000 Thunder God body quenching pills, I seem to have 40% immortal physique? I seem to understand a little. Xiaofan nodded slightly. Li Xiaotian, in other words, you'll never be able to create a perfect earth elemental celestial body. That's because you only have 20% of the earth elemental genes in your body. You don't have any more potential. Xiaofan looked at Li Xiaotian. Chapter 494. Indeed, my potential has been exhausted. Li Xiaotian didn't deny it. A 20% immortal body isn't even a half immortal body, let alone a true immortal body. I can only do whatever I want in the mundane world. Of course, I can also cultivate true qi and become an immortal. However, the chances are slim. If one's potential is exhausted, one should be able to use immortal pills and external forces to achieve an immortal body, right? Xiaofan blurted out subconsciously. Tisk, how ignorant. Li Xiaotian snorted disdainfully. Yes, immortal pills can indeed defy the heavens and seize fate. For example, if I use the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill, I can indeed break through the shackles of my bloodline and create a 30% immortal body, 40% immortal body. Theoretically speaking, if I have enough Earth Emperor's body refinement pill, I can even directly soar into the clouds and create the perfect Earth element, the starry sky dominator body. That is a true immortal body. I can soar beyond the 9 heavens and ascend to a higher level. From then on, I will be immortal and indestructible. Li Xiaotian's eyes shone with a dreamy and hazy light. There should be many Earth Emperor's body refinement pills in the treasure vault of the Genius Zone, right? Xiaofan frowned. Wouldn't you be able to create an immortal body if you use thousands of them? Idiot! What a fool! Li Xiaotian roared. How can a mortal use an immortal pill? Yes, there are all kinds of immortal pills in the treasure vault of the Genius Zone. I have also exchanged for a portion of the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill. However, I am still immortal. Although I have a special body, I can't recklessly use the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill. Even one will cause my body to explode. A mortal using an immortal pill is courting death. There is no doubt about it. I have to leave the Genius Zone first. I have to return to my hometown and find the strongest alchemist in my plane to refine a neutral medicine. Only then can I use the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill. However, I'm afraid such an alchemist can't be found in my plane. I couldn't find it anywhere. I, on the other hand, can consume immortal pills as I please because I possess the immortal golden body technique, a body refining technique that seizes the fortune of heaven and earth. TSK, the profundity of the immortal golden body technique is becoming more and more vivid. In the beginning, I only thought of it as a divine technique that can take a beating, but now, it actually manifests the heaven-defying miraculous ability of refining immortal pills and creating an immortal body. Xiaofan could not help but feel pleased with himself for not being able to refine it. Just then, but... Brat, even though I, Li Xiaotian, have exhausted all of my earth attribute potential, you still possess the lightning attribute. You are young, but you have a lightning-type bloodline gene in your body. Li Xiaotian stared at Xiaofan with a crazed look on his face. It's definitely stronger than my earth bloodline. You've improved so much in such a short period of time. The lightning-type bloodline genes in your body are extremely pure. However, due to your young age, you have yet to perfectly develop this gene. Ha 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 ha. As long as I kill you, then, I'll refine your corpse. After absorbing and refining the lightning-type bloodline genes in your body, my genes will mutate. Ha 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 ha. Gene mutation? Xiaohan's expression changed slightly. Yes. Gene mutation. Absorb your lightning-type genes. My physical body is tyrannical enough, and my physical strength has reached 1 trillion cauldrons. Although I can't covet the medicinal power of the immortal pill, absorbing your bloodline genes is not a problem at all. But absorbing your genes isn't a problem at all. I can accept it. If that's the case. Ha ha ha. In my body, I will have the earth and lightning attributes. I will become one of the few people in the human world with a special dual attribute physique. In this way, I will be invincible in the human world. The probability of becoming an immortal and creating an immortal body will also increase by a lot. With a dual attribute physique, defeating a demon of the same age, even if it's that cold-blooded Naga, will be as easy as flipping his hand. Ha 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 ha. Brat, tell me, are you my fortune? Isn't this my lucky chance? What luck! Originally, the potential of the earth attribute genes in my body had been exhausted, but now, I've encountered a fellow with the lightning-type bloodline genes. You are my, Li Xiaotian's, tonic. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm going to completely refine your genes. Hearing this, Xiaofan finally understood Li Xiaotian's ambition and thoughts. This fellow actually wants to refine my thunder god tyrant body. Make him a heaven-defying expert with a dual attribute physique. But stupid. Really stupid. He said a lot. In fact, although there is a trace of reason, there are many places where he is completely wrong. Xiaohan's mind kept flashing. This young master, have taken thousands of immortal pills. Inside my body, immortal light is circulating, and there is a trace of being able to communicate with the lightning of the immortal world. But you can't even take a single immortal pill, and you still dare to refine this young master? I'm afraid that even a drop of this young master's blood can make you explode alive. Yes, this Li Xiaotian was indeed completely wrong. He actually wanted to refine Xiaohan alive and obtain the lightning attribute in Xiaohan's body. However, he never thought that Xiaohan had already taken thousands of immortal pills. His body was filled with the medicinal power of the immortal pills. It was far from what Li Xiaotian could covet. At this moment, a vague thought suddenly gripped Xiaohan's mind. Wait. Dual attribute special physique? So there is such a thing as a dual attribute physique in this world. This Li Xiaotian wants to refine the lightning attribute in my body. Then, is it possible for me to obtain the earth attribute physique in his body, thus making me a dual attribute physique as well? Or, I might as well find the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill and use the indestructible golden body to refine the Earth Emperor's body refinement pill like how I refined the Thunder God's body refinement pill? In short, is it possible for me to create a dual attribute physique? This sudden thought suddenly occupied Xiaohan's mind. However, before Xiaohan could brew this thought, Li Xiaotian's entire aura rose infinitely. Alright, kid, that's all I have to say. You will be the cornerstone of my rise. You should feel honored. Then, die. Suddenly, a strong wind blew violently from Li Xiaotian's body. From every pore cell, a tornado that could shatter mountains sprayed out. Li Xiaotian's body began to expand at a speed that could be seen with the naked eye. His flesh and blood became purer, and his breathing became more condensed. His aura became even more berserk. The strength of his body, explosive power, endurance, defensive ability. All of them were rising steadily. Very quickly, Li Xiaotian transformed into a terrifying giant spirit that was dozens of feet tall. His entire body was suffused with an earthen yellow color like the earth, emitting a strong aura of earth. There was a flow of air swirling around his entire body. It was like an ancient statue that had existed since the ancient times. In the next moment, his muscles twisted again. Inch by inch, his skin turned into armor. Faint earth god inscriptions faintly flickered on his body. Kid, die. However, I will try my best to leave your corpse intact. Li Xiaotian opened his bloody mouth. There was a rumbling sound. Beneath his feet, streak after streak of talismans appeared as well. They were all ancient formations, their surfaces containing extremely faint immortal energy. Transformed. Xiaohan's body did not move at all. He raised his eyes and looked at Li Xiaotian, who had transformed into an ancient giant. This is a special physique of the earth attribute. It is indeed magical and extraordinary, revealing a kind of terrifying defensive ability. It seems that it is the earth attribute. The biggest characteristic and the biggest advantage is defense. Ha. Kid, release your thunder and lightning attribute. Let's fight head-on. Li Xiaotian burst out with a thunderous voice. His current voice did not sound like that of a human. Instead, it was like that of an ancient devil, a giant. I like the way of fighting with fists to flesh. Your true chi cultivation base is lousy. It is a special physique and a tyrannical flesh shell. Just what I want. Come on. I will let you die with dignity. The strength of your flesh shell is 700 billion cauldrons, plus your special physique. In terms of defensive ability, there is a certain blessing. Then, I will use 60% of my strength to play with you. Ha ha ha. As soon as his voice fell, boom, Li Xiaotian's palm slammed down on Xiaohan's head. This palm contained 60% of Li Xiaotian's strength, reaching a huge force of about 1.6 billion cauldrons. With a palm strike, the wind and clouds surged. In all directions, it was the color of earth. A thick aura of earth pervaded everywhere. This palm of his suppressed the heavens, broke through the void, and obtained reality. On the arena, the yellow war flag danced, smoke rose everywhere, and the space collapsed. It was as if there was an eye of the wind in his palm, sucking in the air of the entire arena, forming a terrifying vacuum zone. In Xiao Mingchu's wooden house, his entire body was covered in cold sweat. He was restless and worried as he stared at the light screen. Suddenly, as Li Xiaotian struck out with his palm, the entire light screen violently shook. It seemed as if the light screen was about to explode. Then, a dazzling golden number rose up, 1.6 billion cauldrons. 1.6 billion cauldrons. This Li Xiaotian has unleashed a violent force of 1.6 billion cauldrons, crushing ghosts and gods. And 3 days ago, junior brother Xiaohan's maximum attack power was only 700 billion cauldrons. Can he withstand it? Moreover, this Li Xiaotian's strength is far more than 1.6 billion cauldrons. Luo Tianyo's wooden house. Luo Tianyo's body could not even stand steadily. With one hand supporting the light screen shook, causing Luo Tianyo's body to also sway. He said in a trembling voice, 1.6 billion cauldrons against little brother Xiaohan's 700 billion cauldrons. Although little brother Xiaohan has a special physique that increases his defense, Li Xiaotian must also have a special physique. For Li Xiaotian to be able to transform into an ancient giant, he must also have an extremely powerful special physique. At this moment, many of the spectators had also noticed the duel between Xiaohan and Li Xiaotian. When they saw Li Xiaotian unleash a power of 1.6 trillion cauldrons, they all broke out in a cold sweat for Xiaohan. The duel between these two had nothing to do with technique, true qi, or comprehension. It was purely a fight of strength, using violence to curb violence. Whoever was stronger, who was more resilient, who had greater stamina and explosive power, would be able to defeat their opponent. This was a simple and violent match. It was also a shocking match. In the arena. Boy, die. You have a special physique, so I don't think that this palm of mine will be able to directly smash your body into pieces. However, you will definitely die. Leaving your corpse intact is also a form of respect for you. Li Xiaotian's wild laughter was filled with confidence. He believed that a strike of 1.6 billion cauldrons would definitely be able to kill Xiaohan. You want me to die? Not necessarily. At this moment, Xiaohan's entire body released the spirit turtle true qi, and the aura of the thunder god tyrant body gushed out. Endless lightning intertwined, and the thunder god's inscription swept across the sky. A faint immortal quality bloomed from Xiaohan's body. Within Xiaohan's body, not only was the sound of thunder rumbling, but there was also celestial music drifting out. Do you think that 60% of your strength can kill me? Good. I will also only use 60% of my strength. Explode for me. Xiaohan's body straightened, and his figure was perfect and invincible. He also used 60% of his strength and struck out with his palm. Boom! Xiaohan struck out with his palm, and his palm suddenly enlarged. Moreover, the color of this palm was almost transparent, pure and flawless. It was the color of jade. One could clearly see that every blood vessel and meridian under the palm, and the inner walls of these blood vessels and meridian had condensed into a spatial crystal wall. Within it, Thunder and lightning from the immortal realm, and all kinds of inscriptions were constantly being born and destroyed. Suddenly, the power of this palm caused a large area of the void to condense. In the light screen in front of a large number of spectators, another burst of data appeared: 1.8 billion cauldrons. Chapter 495. It was a battle of life and death. Xiaofan versus Li Xiaotian. Both of them were people with special constitutions known for their strength. Their battle style was simple and violent. Li Xiaotian had the earth attribute, and his defense was impenetrable. His body could transform into a celestial body and dominate the starry sky. Although Li Xiaotian was still many times away from the great success stage of the immortal body, once he attacked, he would definitely be able to destroy thousands of troops. Just 60% of his strength had reached a terrifying 160 billion ding. Li Xiaotian thought that this palm could kill Xiaofan directly. However, he never expected that Xiaofan's strength would not lose to him at all. Moreover, the Thunder God Tyrant body, through the refinement of immortal pills, was definitely better than Li Xiaotian's celestial meteorite body. Xiaofan also attacked. 60% of his strength had reached 180 billion ding. The two of them were tit for tat, and they were going all out. They fought with reason, and did not give an inch. Boom! 160 billion ding against 180 billion ding of strength, boom. The entire arena seemed to be on the verge of being destroyed. Countless cracks that could be seen with the naked eye appeared in the surrounding space. It was almost breaking. Boom boom boom! Following Xiaofan's attack, the fine and dense electric light wriggled like dragons and snakes, penetrating into Li Xiaotian's body through every opening. It caused Li Xiaotian to feel numb for a moment. Roar! In this direct attack, Li Xiaotian did not gain any advantage at all, but was defeated. On one hand, he underestimated Xiaofan's strength. He did not expect Xiaofan to improve again in just 3 days. On the other hand, his constitution had not been refined by immortal pills, and could not be compared to Xiaofan's constitution. Moreover, the earth attribute's defense was strong enough, but in terms of tearing and explosiveness, it was completely defeated by Xiaofan's lightning attribute. For example, the same 1 trillion ding of strength, when the lightning attribute burst out, the lethality was definitely more terrifying than the earth attribute. However, the earth attribute's defense was slightly stronger. Pooh! Li Xiaotian suddenly spat out a small mouthful of blood. His giant body, which was hundreds of feet tall, was like an ancient giant, and retreated quickly. Streaks of lightning arcs, and waves of power lingered. Li Xiaotian guided them to the ground of the arena to reduce the damage as much as possible. The arena rumbled and collapsed. Smoke and dust billowed and billowed. Kid! Your strength has actually skyrocketed again. What kind of freak are you? What kind of physique do you have? Roar! I, Li Xiaotian, have been famous for thousands of years. My earth physique is mighty and awe-inspiring. It is impossible for me to lose to a brat like you who is still wet behind the ears. Furthermore, your strength will be depleted in 3 days. It had increased from 700 billion ding to almost 2 trillion ding. This was definitely abnormal. You have a special physique, and your bloodline and genes will allow you to ascend. At the very beginning, your strength was less than 10 billion ding. 3 days ago, during the top 32 battle, your bloodline ascended. Raising his strength to 700 billion ding meant that he had successfully ascended. Perhaps, your bloodline will have a second chance. The third time. Multiple bloodline ascensions. However, it is absolutely impossible for you to complete a second bloodline ascension in such a short period of time. You can increase your strength from 700 billion ding to almost 2 trillion ding. 2 consecutive bloodline ascensions in such a short period of time will cause you to explode. Right. I know, you must be forcing yourself. Right now, you are exhausting your life potential, exhausting your bloodline genes, and stubbornly resisting. Ha ha ha. I know. You can't hold on much longer. Die. 80% of your strength. As his enormous figure retreated, Li Xiaotian, who had been so confident all this while, finally let out a roar of panic. However, he was still unwilling to give up. He did not believe that Xiaofan had the strength to fight back. Suddenly, his body expanded again, and he transformed into a giant spirit like a demon god. Once again, he launched a palm strike toward Xiaofan. This palm strike contained 80% of Li Xiaotian's strength, reaching a total of 2,100 billion ding. As the palm strike was thrown out, the arena was filled with a bleak yellow aura, and it was as if dusk had fallen. Time flowed like water, and time was like a song. An ancient and desolate aura was revealed. 2,100 billion ding. As for Xiaofan, although he couldn't expand as much as Li Xiaotian, he was still surrounded by crackling lightning, and countless mysterious magical designs appeared behind him, as well as a projection of the god of lightning. His aura was just as shocking as Xiaofan's. Furthermore, although Xiaofan's body had suffered from the recoil of Li Xiaotian's attack, this violent recoil hadn't harmed his body in the slightest. However, it only caused Xiaofan's internal organs to tremble for a moment. Humph! I've swallowed so many immortal pills. How can my body be compared to a barbarian like you? Die! I won't waste any more time. Full strength. 3 trillion ding. After fighting with Li Xiaotian, Xiaofan's confidence was boosted. Moreover, Xiaofan believed that this battle would not be too complicated. This was a collision of strength against strength, and physique against physique. There was no skill, no calculation, and no battle experience. It was just brute force. Boom! Xiaofan did not waste any more time. He immediately unleashed 3 trillion ding of strength. This power was simply all-encompassing, condensing the void, obliterating the past, and destroying everything. The invincible power enveloped Li Xiaotian. Lightning from the immortal realm surrounded Li Xiaotian. Countless lightning bolts condensed into thick and powerful lightning dragons, and lightning tigers. They all pounced on Li Xiaotian. The earthy yellow aura, the aura of the earth, was washed away into nothingness. Ah! In Xiao Mingchu's wooden house, a shattering sound came from the light screen. The first thing Xiao Mingchu saw was Xiaofan striking out with 180 billion ding of force, neutralizing Li Xiaotian's first attack. Then, before Xiao Mingchu could recover from his shock, Li Xiaotian in the light screen rallied and started his counterattack, striking out 200 and 100 billion ding of force. But Xiaofan was even more tyrannical, striking back with 300 billion ding of force. In the light screen, one after another, horrifying numbers were rising. Finally, bam! The light screen shook violently and exploded with a loud bang. Then, all the images disappeared. It's destroyed. Junior martial brother Xiaofan and that Li Xiaotian's strength, destroyed the light screen. Xiao Mingchu let out a shriek. In Naga's wooden house, Naga had perfectly defeated his opponent. He smoothly entered the top 8. He had a cold smile on his face as he calmly observed the other matches. At this time, when he saw the battle between Xiaofan and Li Xiaotian, his light screen was also destroyed. Oh! Such a strong brute force. Even stronger than Li Xiaotian. Interesting. It's really interesting. It seems that Li Xiaotian is going to die. Naga smiled strangely. Then, he turned around and walked away from the light screen with an indifferent expression. An ant that is slightly stronger than Li Xiaotian, in the arena. Li Xiaotian was heavily injured again. He used 80% of his strength, too. 1 trillion ding. He thought that he could directly kill Xiaofan, but he didn't expect Xiaofan to unleash 3 trillion ding of strength. This had already exceeded Li Xiaotian's limit of 2.7 trillion ding. Furthermore, Xiaofan's lightning-attributed attack was too ferocious. It only lasted for a short while. Not only did it send Li Xiaotian flying, but the earthy yellow armor on Li Xiaotian's body. Cracks appeared inch by inch. Pooh! Li Xiaotian spat out a large mouthful of blood, his face extremely ferocious. Impossible. How is this possible? In 3 days, his strength has surpassed mine. Li Xiaotian couldn't believe it. Didn't you want to refine my bloodline gene? You really don't know what's good for you. Die for me. Xiaofan didn't spare him. Straightening his body, he had already caught up with him. Once again, he struck out with his palm. 3 trillion ding. Xiaofan's palm struck out with all his strength, and his entire body began to expand. Although it didn't expand to the terrifying extent of Li Xiaotian's, it was still half the height of a person, and his aura was even more like a giant spirit. A god descending to the mortal world, every pore of Xiaofan's body spewed out thunder astral energy, faintly conveying ancient songs praising the thunder god, connected to the immortal world, and even surging earth, fire, wind, and water, as if there was a supreme thunder and lightning world quietly brewing in Xiaofan's body. Ultimate strength. 2.7 trillion ding. Meteorite armor to protect me. Now, Li Xiaotian was really scared out of his wits. All of his confidence, his past pride, and his ambitions were all shattered by Xiaofan. At the same time, in his heart, an ominous premonition like a beast on the verge of death surged. He tried his best to reverse the situation. Li Xiaotian also struck out with his ultimate strength, and his entire body was filled with the aura of the earth. In a breath, a layer of dark yellow armor condensed on the surface of his body. At this time, Li Xiaotian seemed to have become one with heaven and earth, showing an indestructible and terrifying defense. Li Xiaotian's earth physique was originally known for its defense. In his realm, as long as he defended with all his strength, even the tower master of his realm couldn't hurt him within a few moves. However, Xiaofan's attack was not as simple as strength. The thunder god's tyrant body supported the bombardment of the divine lightning of the immortal world. Traces of thunder and lightning bombarded the surface of Li Xiaotian's armor, swallowing, destroying, and disintegrating inch by inch. Poof! Li Xiaotian blocked Xiaofan's attack, but he still couldn't stabilize his momentum and was forced to retreat again. Xiaofan didn't hesitate at all. He straightened up again and struck out with his palm, sweeping across all directions, covering heaven and earth, swallowing the sky, and destroying the starry sky. In Xiaofan's attack, there was a faint sound of a dragon's roar, shaking heaven and earth. The airflow in all directions was first distorted, then caved in, then expanded, and finally exploded. Go away! Go away! The yellow horn helmet on Li Xiaotian's head was shattered, and his long hair was disheveled in the wind, making him look unprecedentedly embarrassed. He waved his hands, trying to block Xiaofan's attack. Bang! 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 Xiaofan continued to beat him violently. Inch by inch. Each strike was a full 3 trillion ding, and each strike was the eruption of his strength to the extreme. He beat Li Xiaotian to death. Xiaofan's expression was a little ferocious. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Bang! 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 Xiaofan continuously threw hundreds of punches, and Li Xiaotian blocked hundreds of punches. The armor on his body showed signs of cracking. However, the earth defense was indeed tyrannical to the extreme. Logically speaking, Xiaofan had consumed close to 4,000 thunder god quenching pills, so his physique should be much higher than Li Xiaotian's. He should be able to defeat Li Xiaotian in a few moves, but Li Xiaotian relied on the defensive advantage of the earth physique to resist stubbornly until now. Of course, Li Xiaotian could only defend now, and he had no chance to counterattack at all. Explode! Suddenly, Xiaofan let out a roar, and his fists rained down like a storm. His legs also kicked out in the air. His fists were like heavy hammers, and his legs were like guillotines. Xiaofan's attack speed was several times faster than before. Several times faster. Moreover, the power of each attack was still 3 trillion ding. Xiaofan's physique was really abnormal. His body didn't have any burden on it at all, and he could completely bear it. One had to know that such a fierce power, if he used all his strength every time, without this physique, his body would have exploded long ago. However, Xiaofan was still more and more energetic, and the more he fought, the more excited he became, and there was no sign of decline at all. On the other hand, Li Xiaotian was like a lamp without oil. In fact, there was even a hint of breathlessness in his voice. At this time, after Xiaofan increased the speed and frequency of his attacks, the void around the battle stage suddenly split open, and countless thick lightning bolts rushed out. These lightning bolts were not of the mortal world, and there was a chaotic aura that came from the immortal world. Thunderous rumbles sounded, as if the immortal world was brewing within them. Ah! There's the aura of an immortal. There's the aura of an immortal in your body. You're creating an immortal body. Roar! How did you do it? Finally, Li Xiaotian burst into a howl of despair, and in the next moment, countless lightning wrapped around Li Xiaotian, who was hundreds of feet tall, and then, exploded. The entire arena seemed to have turned into a chaotic color, and strands of 3 trillion ding of violent power exploded on Li Xiaotian's body. Bang! The sky fell and the earth cracked. The earth armor on Li Xiaotian's body was blown up inch by inch, and shattered into pieces. His tall and sturdy body was like a punctured balloon, deflated and condensed to an extreme degree. His skin, flesh, and blood were all blasted apart. Even his bones were blown apart and splattered everywhere. His whole body was directly blown up by Xiaofan's endless violent attacks. Broken. Destroyed. Chapter 496. The battle between Xiaofan and Li Xiaotian did not have any technical content at all. It could even be said that this was a battle that could be seen at a glance. Both of them were acting recklessly. Whoever had greater strength and tyrannical physique would defeat the opponent. Without a doubt, in terms of strength and physique, Xiaofan completely surpassed Li Xiaotian. As a result, the arrogant Li Xiaotian was now completely destroyed by Xiaofan. The earthen meteorite armor, which was known for its supreme defense, was also smashed into pieces by Xiaofan's wild hammering. When the arena returned to its calm state, Xiaofan had completely retracted the ancient thunder god's berserk demonic aura from before. His entire person had become quiet. His temperament was elegant, like a god holding a flower. As for Li Xiaotian, he had already been destroyed. There was not even a complete corpse. The ground was filled with wriggling flesh and blood, pieces of muscle tissue, and pieces of bone fragments. Congratulations, outstanding young demon. You are getting closer and closer to the final success and victory. You have taken a solid step forward into the top 8. You are also one of the strongest mortals under the age of 10,000 under this starry sky. According to the rules, you will receive a reward of 76 million immortal stones. Junior, 1 billion immortal stones can be exchanged for an immortal card. After entering the second floor of this Emperor's treasure trove, you can use the immortal card. The battle to advance to the top 8 has ended. Junior, you have 3 days to rest. After 3 days, you will once again randomly draw an opponent to advance to the top 4. As Immortal Emperor Ju Dao's voice echoed on the arena, countless immortal stones rolled into the light yellow brocade bag floating above Xiaohan's head. Furthermore, the dozen or so immortal cards in Li Xiaotian's brocade bag were also taken by Xiaohan and automatically entered Xiaohan's brocade bag. I entered the top 8. Xiaohan secretly nodded his head. At this moment, Xiaohan lowered his gaze and saw that a storage ring had fallen from the arena. It's Li Xiaotian's storage ring. Xiaohan's heart was slightly moved. He reached out and grabbed the storage ring through the air. He grabbed it. After dripping his blood to recognize the owner, Xiaohan's mental power seeped into the storage ring and carefully examined it. Finally, Xiaohan took out a brocade bag from the storage ring. From the brocade bag, he poured out a large amount of pills. This was a khaki-colored pill that gave off a feeling of the heaviness of the earth. Furthermore, it was emitting dense immortal qi. It's an immortal pill. That's right, it must be the Earth Emperor's body-enhancing pill that Li Xiaotian exchanged for. Xiaohan was well aware of this. Then, he put away the storage ring. Before leaving the arena, Xiaohan put Li Xiaotian's dismembered corpse into his storage ring. We have 3 days to rest and reorganize. I'm going to study the dual attribute physique that Li Xiaotian mentioned. He returned to his wooden house from the arena. Xiaohan only casually chatted with Xiao Mingchu and the rest before going into seclusion again. In the storage room of the giant hall, there were no more Thunder God body tempering pills, so Xiaohan's seclusion wasn't to temper his Thunder God tyrant body. During his battle with Li Xiaotian, he had learned many things about people with special constitutions from Li Xiaotian. Now that he knew about the dual attribute physique, Xiaohan sat cross-legged on the bed, his mind clear of all distracting thoughts. His expression was one of deep contemplation as he muttered to himself. There are many types of special physiques. The most basic special physique. There are the earth physique, the lightning physique, and the fire physique. The wind physique, the water physique. By developing every special physique to the limit, one can create an immortal physique. However, the bloodline genes of people with special physiques in the mortal world are definitely not enough to create an immortal physique. For example, Li Xiaotian has the earth physique, but it's still far from an immortal physique. His potential has been exhausted, and at most, he can only act like a tyrant in the mortal world and ordinary planes. Unless he relies on an immortal pill to defy the heavens and change his fate. But in the end, Li Xiaotian is still immortal. It's impossible for him to enjoy the elixir. Even if he found a neutralizing medicine, he would only be able to consume 1 or 2 elixirs. It's absolutely impossible for him to consume thousands of elixirs like I did with the Thunder God body tempering pill, and me? Because I cultivate the indestructible golden body technique, I can use the indestructible golden body technique to refine immortal pills. Li Xiaotian originally wanted to kill me, refine the bloodline genes in my body, and obtain my lightning attribute. But now, I have killed Li Xiaotian and obtained his corpse and flesh, but I don't really know how to refine his corpse. But when I was refining the Thunder God Tyrant body art, I didn't refine other people's bloodline genes. In other words, I have the Earth Emperor's body refining pill in my hands now. If I use the indestructible golden body technique to refine it, would I be able to perfectly refine and absorb the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor's body refining pill, just like how I refined the Thunder God's body refining pill? If my indestructible golden body technique can really refine the Earth Emperor body enhancing pill, then I only need to find a few other types of immortal pills, and I can become a person with a tri-attribute or quad-attribute physique. Thinking of this, Xiaohan gradually became excited. I'll give it a try. I should be able to succeed. Even the violent medicinal power of the Thunder God body enhancing pill can be refined by the indestructible golden body technique, so why can't I refine the Earth Emperor body enhancing pill? In comparison, the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body enhancing pill is more stable and solid. It's not that domineering. Xiaofan was eager to give it a try. With a flip of his right hand, an Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was already in Xiaofan's palm. The Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was bright and had a soft luster. It was like a gem, and its entire body was an earthy yellow color. Countless earthy yellow rays shot out continuously, and the fragrance of the earth lingered in the air. Celestial chi rose in spirals, and rays of celestial light revolved around the pill. Thick and solid earth essence chi was released violently. As expected of an immortal pill. It's indeed extraordinary. This Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill is not inferior to the Thunder God body-enhancing pill at all. It's an immortal pill of the same level, Xiaofan exclaimed sincerely. When Xiaofan's spiritual energy permeated the Earth Emperor body-tempering pill, he was even more astonished. There was actually a small world inside the Earth Emperor body-tempering pill. When Xiaofan probed it with his spiritual energy, he discovered that there was a small world inside the pill. It was filled with majestic mountains that were boundless, and it was impossible to tell how deep and how far they were. Mountain after mountain rose from the ground. Some of them were tall and towering, some of them were beautiful, and some of them were rugged and surrounded by waterfalls. It was a place with excellent feng shui, an immortal pill. A world. Such a miraculous immortal pill will definitely be able to refine a celestial body. There's no doubt about that. Let's see if my indestructible golden body technique can refine the medicinal power of this Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. Xiaofan no longer hesitated and directly put the immortal pill in his mouth. Right now, Xiaofan's Thunder God body had already begun to take shape. Therefore, he wasn't worried that his body would explode the moment he swallowed the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. At the very least, he still had the indestructible golden body technique to protect him. The moment the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill entered Xiaofan's mouth, it immediately dissolved. A thick medicinal power. Along with a thick earthy fragrance, it directly dispersed. It dispersed into Xiaofan's internal organs, meridians, and bones. Boom! Suddenly, Xiaofan's body inflated like a balloon. Soon, he felt as if he was going to explode. Xiaofan didn't dare to be careless. He activated the indestructible golden body technique to the extreme, and a tidal wave of golden light washed through Xiaofan's body. The warm, comfortable, and brilliant golden light enveloped him. In an instant, it enveloped the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. Refine. Xiaofan refined the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill just like how he refined the Thunder God body-enhancing pill. The golden light started to break down the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. At the beginning, the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was like a wild horse that had escaped its reins. Like a wild horse that had broken free from its reins, it surged and swelled in Xiaofan's meridians, pores, and cells. However, as soon as the indestructible golden body was activated, a golden light enveloped him, and the medicinal potency started to break down. Gradually, the medicinal potency was soothed and transformed into streams of heat that fused into Xiaofan's genes. I can refine it. It feels exactly the same as when I refined the Thunder God body-enhancing pill. Xiaofan was ecstatic. In an instant, the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was completely tamed by the heat of the indestructible golden body technique, and it started to merge with Xiaofan's blood and genes. This caused Xiaofan's body to feel heavy and sturdy. However, at this moment, when the medicinal power of the immortal pill was absorbed by Xiaofan's body, it was instantly repelled. It was forcefully dispelled. What? Xiaofan was shocked. What repelled the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was not Xiaofan's will, but the powerful lightning gene in Xiaofan's blood. The Thunder God Tyrant body forcefully dispelled the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. It feels like two tigers cannot share one mountain. Xiaofan was stunned. Immediately after, he did not believe it and took a few more Earth Emperor body-enhancing pills. Just like before, the indestructible golden body could indeed refine the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. However, as soon as Xiaofan's body absorbed the supreme medicinal power, the Thunder God Tyrant body-enhancing pill came out and squeezed out the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill. Wisps of precious medicinal power shot out from Xiaofan's pores and cells. What's going on? Xiaofan stopped trying and frowned as he pondered. After a while, Xiaofan murmured to himself. Repelled. Because my body does not have the earth element in my blood and genes. Instead, I have the lightning element. Therefore, the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill was repelled. I can't absorb it at all. In other words, if I had obtained the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill previously, I would definitely be able to create an earth element body. However, it is impossible for me to create the Thunder God Tyrant body-enhancing body. Relying on the indestructible golden body-enhancing technique, I can only create one out of the few special body constitutions. It seems like it's not that easy to become a person with a dual special body constitution. If I want to create an earth element body constitution, I have to dispel the lightning element gene and give up the Thunder God Tyrant body that I have painstakingly created. This is obviously impossible. Is there any way for me to forcefully absorb the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-enhancing pill without being repelled by the Thunder God Tyrant body-enhancing body? Xiaofan fell into deep thought. After a long time, Xiaofan's eyes lit up. I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it will work. Chapter 497. After Xiaofan killed Li Xiaotian, he obtained a number of Earth Emperor body-refining pills from Li Xiaotian. This made Xiaofan want to use the Earth Emperor body-refining pill to try to create a dual-attribute special physique. However, when he used the Earth Emperor body-refining pill, there was a rejection phenomenon. Xiaofan's indestructible golden body technique could indeed successfully refine the Earth Emperor body-refining pill and break down the supreme Immortal pill's medicinal power for Xiaofan to absorb. However, Xiaofan's Thunder God Tyrant body simply did not allow the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-refining pill to stay in Xiaofan's body. The moment the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body-refining pill spread into Xiaofan's bloodline gene, it was dispelled and forcefully squeezed out, spraying everywhere. Rumble, 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 streams of earthy yellow air shot out from every pore of Xiaofan's body. The air condensed into a thick city wall, and yellow sand stretched for thousands of miles. At this moment, Xiaofan did not give up easily. After thinking hard, Xiaofan's heart suddenly moved. The Thunder God Tyrant body forcefully expelled the Earth attribute Immortal pill's medicinal power because there is no Earth attribute in my bloodline gene at all. Bloodline gene? Suddenly, Xiaofan flipped his right hand. There was actually a small piece of flesh in his hand. It was a small piece of flesh from Li Xiaotian's corpse. Xiaofan held his breath, and his mental power suddenly swept towards this piece of flesh. This piece of flesh was completely different from the flesh of an ordinary martial artist. In fact, it was only a very small piece of flesh in his hand, but it was incomparably heavy. This small piece of flesh weighed at least 100 cauldrons. At least 100 cauldrons. So heavy. It's really more than 1,000 caddies. Xiaofan concentrated his mental power, and strands of mental power, as thin as gossamer, penetrated into the piece of flesh in his hand. Very soon, Xiaofan saw that in this piece of flesh, there was a boundless land. Yellow sand and thick soil. Rivers and cities. There were even towering mountains and precipitous ridges that rose and fell continuously. This is the flesh of a person with a special physique. For example, my flesh and blood cells are densely covered with lightning, and the inner walls of my meridians have formed a spatial crystal wall. Xiaofan was also not surprised. Using his mental power, he carefully scanned Li Xiaotian's flesh and discovered that there were countless faint yellow spots of light within it. These spots of light seemed to be the source energy of the earth attribute. Faint yellow spots of light. Xiaofan immediately understood the secret behind Li Xiaotian's body structure. It's the origin energy of the earth attribute that forms every cell, every meridian, every bone, and even every drop of blood in Li Xiaotian's body. This is the bloodline gene that Li Xiaotian was talking about. Refine. All I need to do is refine some of these earthen yellow spots into my body. That's why I have a tiny bit of earth-type genes in my blood. Perhaps the Thunder God Tyrant body will no longer reject the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body refining pill. Xiaofan's eyes lit up. However, how should he refine the Earth attribute source energy in Li Xiaotian's flesh? Swallowing Li Xiaotian's flesh like a celestial pill? In fact, it even ate all of Li Xiaotian's remains. Just as this thought appeared in his mind, Xiaofan's stomach twisted and wriggled. He felt like retching, feeling disgusted. His hair stood on end. Xiaofan shook his head abruptly and couldn't help but say fiercely. Swallow Li Xiaotian's flesh and remains? This is no different from eating a human. He's completely an uncivilized barbarian who eats raw meat and drinks blood. If you really want me to eat a human, I'd rather not cultivate this earth physique. Xiaofan directly eliminated the method of eating a human. He once again pondered. Other than eating Li Xiaotian's disgusting flesh and tissues, is there any other way to plunder the earth attribute gene in Li Xiaotian's flesh and blood? As Xiaofan pondered, he played with a few Earth Emperor body refining pills in his hand. At this moment, Xiaofan's body was emitting a golden light. The invincible golden body technique was circulating naturally. The Earth Emperor's body refining pill was emitting a thick medicinal aura. Each strand of medicinal aura was as heavy as a mountain, pressing down on Xiaofan from all directions. However, when the medicinal aura pressed down on Xiaofan's body, the golden brilliance glow would naturally dissolve the medicinal aura of the Earth Emperor's body refining pill and refine the medicinal aura into Xiaofan's pores. However, as soon as the medicinal aura entered Xiaofan's body, it was immediately repelled by the aura of the Thunder God before it could transform Xiaofan's body. Suddenly, an idea flashed in Xiaofan's mind. Invincible Golden Body Technique. Invincible Golden Body Technique can refine the Thunder God body refining pill. It can also refine the Earth Emperor body refining pill. Then, can the Invincible Golden Body Technique also refine the Earth attribute gene in Li Xiaotian's flesh and blood? Xiaofan's heart palpitated. In the next moment, Xiaofan carefully held Li Xiaotian's piece of flesh in his hand. His mental power penetrated it and directly locked onto the yellow spots in the flesh and blood. At the same time, Xiaofan's body emitted a golden light. A pillar of golden light shot directly into the piece of flesh in his hand. Under the precise control of his mental power, the golden light successfully penetrated into the flesh and blood and wrapped around the yellow spots. Boom boom boom, the golden light produced by the Invincible Golden Body Technique burst out with a surging sound like a tidal wave. It was incomparably domineering and wrapped around the yellow spots, forcefully refining them. The yellow spots began to struggle and resist. Buzz 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 buzz, in the flesh and blood, the golden light and the yellow spots began to fight fiercely. The entire piece of flesh and blood was wriggling violently. Not long after, bang! The piece of flesh in Xiaofan's hand directly exploded and scattered into nothingness. Countless dust-like yellow spots scattered in all directions. I failed. Xiaofan frowned. Those yellow spots of light, the source energy of the Earth attribute, are extremely rebellious. My Invincible Golden Body Technique can't easily refine them. However, let's try again. Xiaofan took out a small piece of flesh that weighed about 1,000 cauldrons from his storage ring. Mental power fluctuations and the golden light beam. At the same time, The yellow spots of light in this small piece of flesh were even more dense. As soon as the golden light beam entered, it began to encircle and annihilate. However, pang! This piece of flesh exploded into nothingness. Xiaofan didn't believe it. He became ruthless and continuously took out pieces of Li Xiaotian's flesh from his storage ring. He used the invincible golden body technique to refine the earth attribute energy within. After repeated failures. Finally, on the 23rd attempt, the yellow spots of light in the piece of flesh in his hand began to yield to the golden light beam. Surrender. The next moment, countless tiny yellow spots of light were sucked out by the golden light beam. As soon as these yellow spots of light left the piece of flesh in Xiaofan's hand immediately decayed. From a weight of more than 1,000 cauldrons, it became as light as a feather. Xiaofan hurriedly threw away the rotten flesh in his hand. His mental power was highly concentrated. He saw that the densely packed yellow spots of light were wrapped by the golden light beam and moved towards Xiaofan's body inch by inch. Xiaofan's breathing. He became nervous. He suddenly restrained the aura of the Thunder God Tyrant body into his pores and cells, absolutely not letting it leak out. Very soon, the golden light and yellow spots of light that lingered around Xiaofan's body began to enter Xiaofan's body one after another. Please don't be repelled. Those yellow spots of light, the earth origin energy, please don't be repelled by the Thunder God Tyrant body. Xiaofan prayed in his heart. Time itself seemed to have stopped moving. Finally, all the golden light and the yellow spots of light, like tired birds returning to their nests, all converged into Xiaofan's body. The golden light beam was Xiaofan's original cultivation technique, the invincible golden body technique. Once it entered Xiaofan's body, it naturally circulated through Xiaofan's limbs, bones, meridians, and internal organs. It was protecting. After being refined by the invincible golden body technique, the pale yellow spots of light merged with Xiaofan's body. There was also a close connection. At this moment, once the pale yellow spots entered Xiaofan's body, they began to disperse into Xiaofan's blood. Xiaofan nervously looked inside his body. In Xiaofan's blood, there were densely packed thunder attribute genes. Every drop of Xiaofan's blood seemed to be able to brew a thunderstorm. And at this moment, the pale yellow earth origin energy particles also dispersed into Xiaofan's blood. Moreover, these earth origin energy particles actually began to fuse with Xiaofan's blood. The current situation, for example, was like Xiaofan already had a legal wife in his home, thunder attribute genes, explosive personality, and would not allow a magpie's nest to be occupied by a dove. And now, Xiaofan had a concubine, earth attribute genes. This concubine was gentle and soft, and she tried her best to please Xiaofan, wanting to be a husband with the thunder attribute genes as his legal wife. Xiaofan was so nervous that he was suffocating. Once the thunder attribute genes in his bloodline and bone structure rejected the pale yellow spots of light that had been refined by the invincible golden body technique, just like the Earth Emperor body tempering pill, the Earth origin energy would reject them. Then, Xiaofan would never be able to have dual attributes in his lifetime. Fuse. 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 The pale yellow earth attribute genes were slowly fusing with Xiaofan's blood and bone structure. The thunder attribute genes were watching from the side, as if they could expel them at any time. Xiaofan's body was covered in cold sweat. During this process of bloodline fusion, Xiaofan could not exert any strength. He could only watch quietly. Time seemed to be stretched out. He did not know how much time had passed. Perhaps it was very long, perhaps it was very short. Finally, the pale yellow spots of light completely dissolved into Xiaofan's bloodline and bone structure. They had fused with Xiaofan's life genes. The thunder attribute genes did not expel them. All of a sudden, Xiaofan felt as if he had a very intimate connection with heaven and earth, with the starry sky. This seems to have succeeded. Xiaofan was completely excited. He directly jumped down from the bed, took off his boots, and stepped on the ground with both feet. A very solid feeling, as if he had fused with the ground, directly gripped Xiaofan's heart. At the same time, a pale yellow light continuously rotated on the surface of Xiaofan's body. Xiaofan's heart moved, and thunder and lightning flashed again. However, the thunder and lightning and the pale yellow light intertwined, complementing each other. They did not clash with each other, but instead fused as one. Extremely intimate. I think I have become a dual attribute special body. Xiaofan's body trembled with excitement. Chapter 498. Xiaofan had finally managed to refine the earth origin energy contained in Li Xiaotian's flesh into his bones and life genes. As a result, Xiaofan finally had one of the basic special body constitutions, the Great Earth Physique. In Xiaofan's body, the lightning and earth elements did not conflict with each other. Instead, they coexisted with each other and were extremely close. Water and milk intertwined. However, the lightning element genes in Xiaofan's body were far more abundant and powerful than the earth element genes. For example, if the lightning element genes in Xiaofan's body were as many as an ocean, then the earth element genes were just a small pool of water. Such a small amount of earth element genes could not change Xiaofan's body at all. Xiaofan stood barefoot in the room. He could feel the rhythm of the earth and the breath of the earth. The fragrance of the earth drifted in from the window and came from the mountains far away, captivating Xiaofan. This great earth physique is indeed special. Xiaofan sighed with satisfaction. However, it was far from enough for Xiaofan to activate the earth origin energy in his body for battle. This little bit of earth physique could only allow Xiaofan to be more harmonious with the heavens, the earth, the rivers, and the stars. However, Xiaofan had his own plans. After pacing around the wooden hut, Xiaofan returned to the bed and sat down cross-legged. He flipped his right hand and took out a round Earth Emperor body tempering pill from his storage ring. Now, I will do what Li Xiaotian could not do. I will use the Earth Emperor body tempering pill to refine my body. This will allow the little bit of earth physique in my body to grow into a true immortal physique, the starry sky dominator physique. I will be able to enjoy the immortal pill unscathed. However, Li Xiaotian could not do so in his entire life. Therefore, in terms of earth physique, my achievements will completely surpass Li Xiaotian's. Moreover, the body that I have created in these 3 days will definitely surpass Li Xiaotian's. It will definitely surpass Li Xiaotian's lifetime accumulation. Xiaofan was completely confident. Consume. Suddenly, Xiaofan put the Earth Emperor body tempering pill into his mouth. Boom! The pill dissolved in his mouth. It dispersed with a loud bang. The thick, heavy, and stable medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body tempering pill surged into Xiaofan's blood vessels, bones, internal organs, and life genes. As the medicinal properties were absorbed, the earthen yellow motes of light in Xiaofan's bloodline genes let out a carefree cry of joy. Like a gluttonous whale, it began to swallow the medicinal energy. At this moment, the lightning element finally stopped rejecting the medicinal power of the Earth Emperor body tempering pill. That was because Xiaofan had successfully obtained the Great Earth Physique. Right now, the berserk nature of the thunder element had already allowed the absorption of the Earth Emperor body tempering pill's medicinal power. Moreover, because of Xiaofan's current form, the indestructible golden body technique had been cultivated to the extreme. Therefore, in the next moment, Xiaofan grabbed a large handful of Earth Emperor body tempering pills and swallowed them all. Hong hong hong, inside and outside of Xiaofan's body, golden light surged. The immortal golden body incantation was helping Xiaofan's body absorb the medicinal energy. He consumed a large amount of Earth Emperor body tempering pills. This caused the surface of Xiaofan's body to glow with a yellow light. His entire body had undergone a new transformation. Li Xiaotian didn't have the fortune to enjoy this Earth Emperor body tempering pill, so he didn't know its profoundness. Now that Xiaofan consumed a large amount of it, he crazily absorbed the source energy of the earth from the celestial realm, causing the source energy of the earth in his body to soar. Ascend. Ascend again. Moreover, the medicinal energy of each Earth Emperor body tempering pill was many times superior to Li Xiaotian's Great Earth physique. The tiny bit of the Great Earth physique in Xiaofan's body had already undergone a great transformation, entering a new level. In Xiaofan's blood and bones, the earthen yellow motes of light were increasing in number and density. Vaguely, they were catching up to the thunder element gene. Li Xiaotian had exchanged a total of about 2,000 Earth Emperor body tempering pills in the storage of the giant hall. Now, all of them were being consumed by Xiaofan. Xiaofan swallowed large amounts of immortal pills, and the terrifying medicinal energy completely erupted in Xiaofan's body. Waves of medicinal energy condensed into earth dragons, earth snakes, earth flood dragons, earth birds, great walls, towering mountains. These earth dragons and earth snakes revolved around Xiaofan in a chaotic manner. Powerful life force and immortal aura were injected into Xiaofan's body. In an instant, Xiaofan's flesh and blood actually glowed with an intense earthen yellow color. Every piece of his flesh and blood was incomparably strong and sturdy. Xiaofan's entire body shone with an earthen yellow luster. It was as if his body, cells, meridians, and blood vessels had all evolved into celestial bodies, starry skies, meteorites, stars. It actually gave off a feeling of indestructibility. In the end, the blood vessels and meridians in Xiaofan's body also shone with a holy luster. Every drop of his blood seemed to have evolved into a yellow crystal. His blood seemed to have solidified into a solid state. It was as solid as gemstones and heavenly crystals. The surface of his skin was even more dazzling, and it released a terrifying defensive ability. Moreover, the current Xiaofan not only had his defensive ability increased, but his strength was also rising steadily. The strength of his body broke through the shackles and continued to soar. 200 billion ding. 3,300 billion ding. 3,400 billion ding. At the same time, the lightning attribute in Xiaofan's body also roared. Rays of lightning from the celestial world and the light of the earth intertwined and shone, forming a perfect combination. The two attributes of lightning and earth were perfect and harmonious. As a result, Xiaofan's current body not only possessed the tearing and explosive power of the lightning attribute, but also the stability, defense, and size of the earth attribute. Once this earth attribute body was created into a celestial body, his entire body could transform into a planet. Its power was definitely not weaker than the thunder god tyrant body. However, even in the celestial world, there were not many celestials who had a special body with two attributes like Xiaofan. Lightning refines my divine soul, and earth refines my body. Xiaofan was still crazily swallowing the Earth Emperor body strengthening pills. Inside his body, lightning would burst out one moment, and yellow light would spread the next. His body was also expanding and pulsing. His heart erupted with a violent rhythm, like a heavy hammer, tearing the air apart. His left eye was lightning, and his right eye was earth. His aura became more and more terrifying. Outside the area where Xiaofan was lodging in the wooden house. In the garden, Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the others looked at Xiaofan with astonished eyes. Looking at Xiaofan's wooden house. Junior brother Xiaofan successfully advanced into the top 8. Unbelievable. He actually used brute force to defeat Li Xiaotian. That's 300 billion cauldrons of strength. He directly destroyed the light screen. Too tyrannical. Moreover, junior brother Xiaofan improved to such a heaven-defying degree in just a few days. He What did he do? Xiao Mingchu said in a daze. The top 8 battle will begin in 2 days. Little brother Xiaofan is in seclusion again. I don't know. I don't know if this seclusion will be like the previous 2 times, and his combat power will soar again. If he can obtain another heaven-defying improvement. That's too monstrous. Luo Tianyu said in a trembling voice. Inside another garden. Naga. The bewitching man with reddish-brown skin sat beside a stone table. Naga leisurely looked at the colorful butterflies dancing on a cluster of flowers. His eyes surged with a kind of divine light that comprehended the great Tao of nature. As for the bewitching man with reddish-brown skin, he seemed extremely nervous. Li Xiaotian is dead. He died in the hands of that young man. He shouldn't have died. Oh. Naga smiled faintly. The winner is king, and the loser is a bandit. Why shouldn't Li Xiaotian die? He was not as skilled as others, so he deserved to die. No. The bewitching man with reddish-brown skin screamed in shock. Something's wrong. That kid. In less than 10 days, his strength soared twice. From less than 10 billion cauldrons, it soared to 700 billion cauldrons, and then reached 300 billion cauldrons a few days later. He's not an immortal, how could he improve so quickly? In such a short period of time, his body accumulated such a violent power, but he acted as if nothing had happened. Naga, that kid is definitely not an ordinary person. Now. The top 8 battle is about to begin. You might encounter him, and I might also encounter him. What should we do? If it's in the next battle. If he improves again, we might not be able to resist him. What should we do now? Naga said nonchalantly. No matter how much he improves, I will only need 1 sword to kill him. After a pause, Naga's gaze drifted far away. On the contrary, I don't want to encounter him so early. Instead, I want him to become more and more bewitching, stronger and stronger. Let him improve as much as he wants. This way, when I kill him, it will have a different taste. A relatively stronger ant can make this boring battle a little more interesting. In a garden at an extremely high place. A white-browed youth stood with his hands behind his back. His aura oppressed the starry sky and universe, and his eyes were filled with arrogance and defiance. This person was also one of the top 8 in this time's Immortal Stone competition. Senior martial brother, a group of beautiful, elegant, and otherworldly girls surrounded the white-browed youth like a host of stars surrounding the moon. Senior brother, this time, you are aiming to obtain the purple immortal key and become the strongest person under 10,000 years old in the current universe. Senior brother, you are really ambitious. One of the young girls flattered. Humph, the white-browed youth snorted coldly. Senior brother, looking at the top 8, there are only 2 people who can pose a threat to you. One is that terrifying Naga, and the other is, the kid who killed Li Xiaotian. A young girl with eyebrows like distant mountains and eyes like autumn water said with slight worry. Forget about Naga, he is indeed a genius. Killing people above his level is like cutting melons and vegetables. However, how can the kid who defeated Li Xiaotian be this young master's opponent? He is the same as Li Xiaotian, they are both barbarians. Boorish. Nothing to worry about. The white-browed youth said disdainfully. But, senior brother, that youth's improvement is very fast, ha 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 ha. The battle with Li Xiaotian must have exhausted all of his potential. He has a special lightning attribute physique. If this young master's guess is not wrong, he should have used the immortal pill Thunder God's body tempering pill. This young master discovered that the Thunder God's body tempering pill in the storage has been exchanged twice. The timing of the exchange of the Thunder God body tempering pills was extremely coincidental with the time that the kid had improved. However, the storage of the Thunder God's body tempering pill has long been exhausted. This time, that kid will not improve an inch. However, it is strange that he can enjoy the immortal pill. If this young master encounters that kid, this young master will definitely capture him and interrogate him properly. The white-browed youth said proudly. Inside Xiaofan's wooden house, all of the lightning and yellow light were absorbed into Xiaofan's body. At this moment, Xiaofan was strangely stable. His entire body seemed to be one with heaven and earth. 2108 Earth Emperor body tempering pills have all been consumed and refined by me. Xiaofan smiled slightly. I have finally become a person with a special dual attribute physique. Now, I will need around 6,000 Thunder God body tempering pills to create the Thunder God dominating body immortal physique. I will need around 8,000 Earth King body tempering pills to create the Earth immortal physique and the Star dominating body immortal physique. Once I successfully create both immortal physiques, I will have a dual attribute immortal physique. My strength has skyrocketed to 5 trillion cauldrons. My defense is incomparable to before. Moreover, my body was created with the nourishment of the immortal pill. Its quality is definitely 10 times higher than Li Xiaotian's celestial meteorite body. The current me would dare to fight against a pagoda master in the entire mortal world. Xiaofan's calm eyes glowed with a domineering divine light. Chapter 499. Xiaofan encountering Li Xiaotian in the battle for the top 16 was undoubtedly a great opportunity. This battle allowed Xiaofan to successfully plunder the Earth attribute genes, and through the Earth Emperor body refining pill, he created an Earth physique that was far more majestic than Li Xiaotian's. Now, not only did Xiaofan's defensive power skyrocket, his entire body would expand between breaths, and he could evolve into a starry sky giant that was hundreds of feet tall. Moreover, once the Earth physique was refined into an immortal physique, then Xiaofan's body could even evolve into a planet. At the same time, in this kind of impregnable stability, Xiaofan's physique also had the tearing and destructive power of thunder and lightning. This was the strength of a dual attribute physique. If Xiaofan encountered someone like Li Xiaotian again, he could definitely explode with a few punches, like picking up grass, without any suspense. 500 billion cauldrons of strength. Xiaofan retracted all the aura in his body into his pores, wrapped in the spirit turtle true qi, and restrained his sharpness. He nodded to himself. With my current strength and defense, even if I fight against the tower master of my plane, I can still beat him to death. The strongest human in my plane, the tower master, is no longer my opponent. Xiaofan felt like a lifetime had passed. Before coming to the genius area, Xiaofan was still being controlled by the tower master, and was still not a match for this half-immortal body. But now, after experiencing the tempering of the illusory demon palace and the baptism of the immortal stone competition, Xiaofan had already grown to a level that even the tower master could not compare to. All of this happened too quickly. His improvement was godly. Moreover, with my current accumulation, when I go back and cultivate true qi, I will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. This time, the accumulation of my spirit. It even far surpasses the last time in the demon city. Xiaofan was very confident. Immediately, Xiaofan relaxed his body and came before the light screen. His spirit wave swept in. The top 8 battle will begin tomorrow. Xiaofan scanned the images of the top 8. Other than himself, the other 7 were all chosen. They were from the ordinary planes of the universe, which were as numerous as the eternal sands. They were the outstanding talents of the human race under 10,000 years old. As expected, Naga also successfully entered the top 8. Xiaofan nodded slightly. Immediately, Xiaofan's spirit wave swept into the light screen again. At this point, the various treasures in the storage had been completely exchanged. Even those dazzling array of immortal pills had all been exchanged. Originally, Xiaofan wanted to see if there were any more Earth Emperor body refining pills in the storage. But he could only return in disappointment. The only thing left in the inventory. It was a blue immortal key, blue immortal keys, each worth 50 million immortal stones. It's a necessity to enter the second level of the Absolute Blade Immortal Emperor's treasure trove. Moreover, this blue immortal key can bring 70 people into the second level of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure trove. Xiaofan muttered. This blue immortal key is the most precious immortal key apart from the purple one. I must obtain the purple immortal key. But... forget it. In any case, I have enough immortal stones and more than 10 immortal cards. So... I'll just exchange them for some fun. With a thought, Xiaofan took out 50 million immortal stones from his bag and exchanged for the last set of immortal keys he had in his storage. A key shimmering with an ocean blue immortal light was held in Xiaofan's hand. The key was engraved with obscure and mysterious runes. It was engraved with dragons and tigers. It was a spectacular sight. Moreover, the entire key was flowing with an indescribable power of teleportation. Xiaofan played with the key and clicked his tongue in wonder. Suddenly, an indifferent voice came from the blue immortal key. "Junior, congratulations on obtaining a place to enter the second stage of the Absolute Blade Immortal Emperor's treasure trove. This is an extremely high-quality blue immortal key. Apart from allowing you to enter the second level of the Absolute Blade Immortal Emperor's treasure trove, it can also allow you to bring more people with you. Including you, there will be 70 people entering the second level of the Absolute Blade Immortal Emperor's treasure trove. With you activating this blue immortal key, the number of people who can bring into the second level of the Absolute Blade Immortal Emperor's treasure trove will not be limited. It can be an ordinary human over 10,000 years old, or even an immortal. Now, you can refine this blue immortal key with a drop of your blood and absorb it into your body. Only after refining it will the blue immortal key take effect. Moreover, after refining it into your body, only you can use it. This will prevent others from snatching it. This is also to protect you. Oh? Is that so? Drop a drop of blood to refine it? Xiaofan was stunned for a moment. Then, he activated strands of saber chi and gently cut his right index finger. He squeezed out a drop of blood and dripped it onto the blue immortal key in his hand. Boom! The blue immortal key was burned by Xiaofan's blood. Then, it transformed into a ray of ocean blue light and entered Xiaofan's body. It seemed to have become a cell in Xiaofan's pores. It was very magical. Once I obtain the purple immortal key, I should refine it into my body like this. Xiaofan muttered to himself. Then, Xiaofan communicated with Xiao Mingchu and the others and left the wooden house. In the garden outside the wooden house. Junior brother Xiaofan, I didn't expect you to kill a fierce person like Li Xiaotian and enter the top 8. Amazing, amazing. Xiao Mingchu was amazed. Then, he smiled and said. Junior brother Xiaofan, when I was watching your battle with Li Xiaotian, my heart had risen to my throat. I was afraid that you wouldn't be a match for him. Ha 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 ha, I never imagined that you would actually be able to erupt with a mighty force of 30,000 billion cauldrons and smash Li Xiaotian alive. Junior brother Xiaofan, your improvement is really too monstrous. Little brother Xiaofan, you are truly a genius. Now, even I suspect that you are the reincarnation of an immortal. Luo Tianyu also looked at Xiaofan with a shocked gaze. Xiaofan shook his head and laughed, then changed the topic. I have only entered the top 8. There are still a few life and death battles waiting for me. I must not let my guard down. The opponents I will encounter in the top 8 will definitely be more difficult to deal with than Li Xiaotian. That's right, eldest senior brother, big brother Luo, I have nothing to do, so I exchanged for a blue immortal key and refined it into my body. I can bring 70 people into the second floor of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. He he. Eldest senior brother, big brother Luo, when the time comes. I'll bring you guys into play. Ha ha ha. That's right. Return to the sect master. Senior brother Fong Ling, senior brother Dong Fong Qin, bring them in as well. Let them also experience the immortal fate. Sure. Xiao Mingchu quickly nodded in agreement. Immediately, Xiao Mingchu hurriedly said. Junior brother Xiaofan, tomorrow is the top 8 battle. You can take this opportunity to study the battle strength of the other 7 people and find their flaws. This. Xiaofan shook his head slightly. Then he smiled and said. I won't go and casually study other people. If I continue to study them, it will not be beautiful. I might as well focus on everything and deal with all changes. In Xiaofan's tone, there was already a kind of confidence and demeanor of a peerless expert, causing Xiao Mingchu and the others to be speechless. In the depths of their hearts, sincere admiration rose. Junior brother Xiaofan. Now that you have truly risen, when you return to the plane, you will definitely be an invincible figure. You're definitely an invincible supreme being. Even the Tower Master is far from being your opponent. Xiao Mingchu clicked his tongue and sighed. In another garden. Naga and the bewitching man with reddish-brown skin sat beside an ancient stone table. Naga, tomorrow is the top 8 battle. I hope we don't encounter each other early. The bewitching man with reddish-brown skin said solemnly. Naga, this is a matter of life and death. We can't let our guard down. Go back and study the situation of the other opponents, especially the kid who defeated Li Xiaotian. I don't need to study anything. Naga said arrogantly. Only others study me, Naga. I, Naga, never need to study anyone. I, Naga, am invincible. In a garden at an extremely high level. The white-browed man had a jade-like face, and a strange smile appeared on his face. He was leaning against the bosom of a young and beautiful woman wearing a veil, and the woman was feeding him a delicious immortal fruit, mouth to mouth. There were also a few stunning beauties who were massaging his chest and back. Senior brother, tomorrow is going to be a tough battle. Senior brother, you should rest early. A girl in a white veil said gently. Ha ha ha. It's fine. The white-browed man stretched out his hands and began to play with the white-veiled girl's chest. He teased the white-veiled girl until her entire body trembled. Her cheeks burned as she let out a whimper. Only Naga is slightly troublesome. The rest are all idiots. The white-browed man said proudly. He immediately lifted the chin of a stunning beauty. Moreover, with your help, I will be invincible. Even if I encounter Naga, I will still have the power to fight. Little sisters are willing to help senior brother. Sweep away all opponents. The group of stunning beauties vowed solemnly. At the same time, in a large number of gardens, those who were still in the giant hall area and had not been teleported away were discussing in groups of 3 to 5, it's right for us to stay. The remaining battles are getting more and more exciting, more and more classic. It's a feast for our eyes. Yes, these battles are very inspiring. After watching them, I have gained many insights that can help me improve. There are still 8 outstanding people left. Who do you think will win? I think Naga will win. I support Naga. I still support Naga. Obviously, I support Naga. Naga is indeed too powerful. One sword to kill a god is unstoppable. However, the kid who defeated Li Xiaotian has made great progress in every battle. He might be able to pose a threat to Naga. Ha 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 ha. Childish. That kid, when he defeated Li Xiaotian in the last battle, he did burst out with 300 billion ding of strength. However, it was all brute force. How can he defeat Naga with brute force? Isn't that a fool's dream? That's right. True experts still compete in true chi cultivation, divine martial arts, and not strength. Naga's swordsmanship is godly. Legend has it that he received guidance from a sword immortal. He can't defeat Naga with just a few gene of brute force. Yes, when skill reaches Naga's level, it has already surpassed the level of strength. Don't mention 300 billion ding of strength, even if that kid had 400 billion ding or 100 billion ding, he still wouldn't be able to defeat Naga. Naga will most likely become an immortal in the future. He will definitely become an immortal. It's a pity that Naga uses a sword. The fourth floor of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure has the inheritance of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's supreme saber Dao. I wonder if Naga can inherit Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's legacy. To be continued. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.